cups of coffee, 500 cigarettes, 1,000 miles of highway, and I ain't forgot her yet, but I keep on moving. I keep moving on down the line. There ain't nothing in my mirror, just a cloud of dust and smoke. But what do you expect when some old trucker's heart gets broke? The old trucker's hearts get broke. Well, them big wheels of rubber gonna rubber off of my mind. I'm a highway junkie, I need that old white line. I was 10 miles out of Nashville, doing 101. A state boy pulled me over, he said, "Where's the fire, son?" He said, "Where's the fire, son?" I said, "Man, ain't no fire, I'm just running from a flame. Go on and write your ticket, but I ain't the one to blame." And that county just tried to rob me blind. But them big wheels of rubber gonna rubber off of my mind. I'm a highway junkie, I need that old white line. I had nothing left to lose. I wanted to hear some rock and roll, but all they played was blues. I didn't want to hear no blues. So I went to call up Elvis, but Roger Miller grabbed the phone. He said, "Drive that 18-wheeler, boy, you're the king of the road." Yeah, I'm the king of the road. And them big wheels of rubber gonna rubber off of my mind. I'm a highway junkie, I need that old white line. I'm a highway junkie, Lord, I need that old white line.
What's up, weirdos? It's Mark Splude, and this is episode 82 of the SPLUDECAST. Oh, my guest this week, no stranger to the SPLUDECAST, although it has been a little while. My good friend, fantastic local comic, Dan McCarthy is my guest, and man, sat down to shoot the shit with Dan. I love having Dan on the podcast, man. No trouble. He and I having a great conversation. You know, we shot the shit for fucking hours and could have shot the shit for a few more hours with him. We'll have Dan back on hopefully pretty soon. Fantastic guest to have on the Spludecast, man. Really enjoyed my time shooting the shit with Dan. We slung some arrows. I'm not going to lie. Listen, this is the Spludecast, right? There's going to be a little bit of controversy. And this one, no exception at all. Dan and I give our feelings on something that's going on in this scene, and we are brutally honest. So, prepare yourself for that. No offense meant to anybody here, We're talking about the scene. Shit happens here, and we get together and talk about it. Anyway, I don't know why I'm so out of fucking breath right now. Jesus Christ. Walking up the stairs, that's what did it. 2 flights of stairs. Hey, listen, I am moving. I'm getting away from all these fucking stairs, moving to a house with only 1 flight of stairs instead of 2.5, and really looking forward to it. I got to tell you guys, moving sucks. The process of moving sucks. This time it's been, I don't know how we've acquired so much fucking shit over the last 3 years, but this house, 3 floors, 6 bedrooms, full of fucking shit, and the worst of it was the basement. I tackled that on Sunday. I got the basement all cleaned out, got most of it moved over, except for my, my workout equipment. I got a Bowflex, I got a flat bench, I got a bunch of dumbbells. I got a pretty good gym set up down there. Haven't moved all that stuff over yet. But this coming weekend, 4 days from right now, we're moving the entire fucking house. I already brought over a lot of stuff, but we're moving for real this weekend. And I can't wait. Really something super exciting, man, as I am building myself a small little podcast studio in this house. I'm gonna pimp it right out. I got some ideas. I'm going to custom make a lot of the shit in the studio, and really looking forward to it. Going to have a couple upgrades to the podcasting equipment. Hopefully it improves the sound quality moving forward. And yeah, I am fucking pumped, man. I'm pumped to move into this great house. I'm pumped to have a podcast studio space. In fact, I'm going to start podcasting a lot more. Now, before I talk about that, I am going to say this is going to be my last podcast for 2 weeks. There's not going to be one next week. We're going to skip a week. I got to get this move behind me. I got Danbra coming into town, and I got nothing written for those shows. Not a damn thing. And, they're super important shows. I want to put my best foot forward when Danbra's in town. So I got to take some time out of the podcast realm to move, to write some new material for the Danbra shows. I will be back with a fucking vengeance week after next from the new podcast studios, the true SPLUDECAST studios. This studio that I've been recording these podcasts in since the beginning actually started as Jamie Land Studios, because my wife had the Port City podcast before there was ever a SPLUDECAST. So anyway, it's going to be an official SPLUDECAST studio, and I am super, super fucking pumped. Anyway, what has been going on with me lately? Well, the move, that's certainly been going on every fucking day. I'm over the new house. I'm improving things over there before we move in. I got some wall repair to do in this house. And yeah, just been busy as fucking shit with this move, with work. It's just been, it's been pandemonium. Now, I did do a comedy show. I did a comedy show this past Saturday night at the R Bar. It was St. Patrick's Day. And boy, I'll tell you, this was quite a show. On my way to the show, I got a message from John. John Ford runs the No Jokes Bar at the R Bar. He said he just arrived at the R Bar, and it was full of karaoke people. Apparently, they fired the karaoke up early at the R Bar for St. Paddy's Day, but they had to shut it down for the comedy, and then it was to start back up at 11. And man, these people were not fucking happy. That place was full of karaoke drunks. When I first got there, they were just shutting her down. It was around 8:30. And John was about to take over the show. Anyway, once all of the drunken karaoke players, once they left the bar, man, there weren't too many fucking people left. A few stragglers came in, but it was a pretty thin crowd. Probably, 40 to 60% comics. It was about 20% of people who had no interest in the fucking show, like the bar staff who just talked over half the people's fucking sets. And, man, it was a crazy fucking show. John gets up, opens the show up with a story, like he did 10 or 12 minutes off the top. He brings up Jason. Is it Jason Edwards? I don't know Jason's last name. I don't have Facebook. Anyway, Jason gets up, man, and it's pure fucking cricket city. It's nothing but crickets. Very painful to watch. I laughed once because he dropped a punchline that I thought was pretty decent. And I think he was expecting a big pop for it. And nothing, nothing at all. And that popped me, man. I had a little laugh at that one. But, yeah, Jay struggled. And then, what's this guy's name? Shit, Eric. Eric got up next. Not Eric Chason. He got up later in the show. Eric, I don't know these new guys' names. I got to get them on the podcast and shoot the shit with them. And once I type their name out a couple times when they're on the podcast, I'll remember their last names. Anyway, this Eric guy, he's a new guy. I think he's friends with Sam. And he got up, and man, I really dug what he was doing up there. He had some pretty good jokes. He warned everybody off the top that it was going to be a little dark. It was dark. He had some Princess Diana jokes. He had some dark fucking jokes in there that I dug. The audience didn't really give him much love, man. He got a few laughs here and there, but it was also, a lot of crickets. It was a tough fucking room, I'll tell you that. Anyway, after Eric, who went after Eric? Oh, my good friend Matt Connell did his third set ever. Second of true stand-up, really. He did a set there in January at the R Bar, and then he did a set list set, which doesn't really count as a set, really, because it's just improv. It's no written material or anything like that. So this was really his second stand-up set back at the R Bar 2 months later. And, man, Matt did great. Listen, this is a stingy crowd. And Matt had to be fucking sweating it before he went up there, watching the first two guys flounder. And I'll tell you, man, Matt had some good material. He was a little nervous in his delivery, but he got most of his jokes over. He got a good response. Nowhere near as good as the first time, but listen, man, that crowd was, she was a rough crowd. Anyway, Matt went up third. Who went up fourth? I can't remember. Oh, a guest spot, actually. John Nesbitt went up in a guest spot, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Oh, no, John Nesbitt actually went up first. He took the fucking bullet. Actually, Nesbitt did. Nesbitt went up first. And, man, listen, man, I'm a fan of John Nesbitt. He's a good guy. I love what he does on stage. The material he was doing wasn't really getting over with the crowd. But his personality seemed to get over pretty decently, man. He hung in there. He hung his own, he held his own. And that holding your own on that show was a fucking victory. John had a small victory. Matt Connell had a victory. And so who went up after Matt? Was it an intermission right away after Matt? God damn it. I know I'm forgetting people, man. I hate this. So anyway, after the intermission, John told another story for some reason. For some reason, John decided, I think John did about 24 minutes on this fucking R-Bar show. Brad McLaughlin was supposed to be on the show, and he canceled. So there were a few guest spots. John Nesbitt was one. Sam Laidman got up. He was fresh off a show he had done at the Arts Center. Let's take a little pause here. My wife hosted this show at the Arts Center. Shane Ogden was putting on a show the same night at the Arts Center. Shane headlining, and Sam Laidman, I think, was the middle. Or maybe it was a split middle because Chris Hovey was also on the show. Pregina was on the show. Pregina Maskey doing a theater show, third or fourth set. Good for her. And my lovely wife, Jamie Splude, hosted this show. Did about 10 minutes off the top. I watched the video. She fucking killed. It was fantastic. Good for her. Pregina did great. I heard Chris Hovey. I heard this from several people that Chris Hovey fucking destroyed on this show. That's the reports I got from 4 different people that Chris Hovey fucking destroyed on this show. Real happy for Chris. He's a friend of the SPLUDECAST. Happy to see, man, Chris, he's a fucking hot rookie right now. He's a real hot rookie. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen to Chris, but this has happened. It's been happening on this scene. I'm sure it happens on every scene to hot rookies. Sometimes it fizzles out, right? Comedy is a ride, man. It's up and down. It's peaks and valleys. Chris is fucking crushing right now. It'll be interesting to see if he can maintain the consistency of the crush right now, or if he is going to have a bomb here and there. Be interesting to see, but I heard he absolutely devastated at that fucking show and could not be happier to hear it. Man, you know what? I can't wait to work with Chris Hovey. I don't think I've ever... Oh, yeah, I did. When we did Yuck's Amateur Night, the one time I did that, Chris was on that show as well, but I didn't... I think that might have been the first time I met Chris. I'm not entirely sure. But, man, I'm looking forward to working with Chris. I love working with crushers, man. If it were my choice, every show, every comic would fucking crush, man. That's what I want to see. I want the people to be happy. I want them to laugh. And I want them to come back for more. So I want everybody to crush on every show that I'm performing on. You know, just makes for a great show. Anyway, really looking forward to working with Chris again. And, yeah, if you want to learn more about Chris Hovey, go back a couple episodes. I think he was episode 79. Yeah, I think Chris Hovey was episode 79 of the SPLUDECAST. Great guy, man. I really enjoyed talking to him. Great to hear that he fucking destroyed on that show. And I heard everyone did great, first of all. I heard Shane crushed. I heard Sam crushed. And anyway, so congratulations to those guys on that show. But Sam, after that show, came down to the R Bar for a guest spot. And he was another guy that survived. He did good, man. A lot of his jokes got over. Some of them didn't. He was pacing like a fucking caged tiger. He was pretty aggressive. I thought he should have maybe slowed down a little, calmed down a little, not pace as much, because the pacing can be very distracting to an audience. But he was all pumped up off his show, and that was his first show in a little while. So, you know, I get it. But Sam did about as well as expected on a show like that, you know. And of course, Sam's partner in crime on the S&M Fun with S&M podcast with Sam Laidman and Matt Kanan got up and did a set of brand new shit that I dug, but man, fuck, did Matt have some bad luck. So first of all, there was an ethnic feller in the audience, and Matt had an ethnic feller joke, and he was going to use this guy kind of as not as a prop, but, you know, he was gonna pop a punchline on this ethnic feller. And right before Matt got up, this ethnic guy left. He left the R Bar. So that hurt Matt a little. But more than anything, the fucking talking that was going on in the R Bar. Jesus Christ. And listen, this is why you have to charge at the fucking door. Charge a toonie. Okay? The one worst offender was standing up by the bar. And she was on the telephone talking to her fucking drug dealer. Yeah, so I'm going to come for my 3, and I got Shirley with me, and she wants 2. But I still want my 3, and she wants her 2. So do you want to just meet at Michael's? Like, yelling it on the fucking phone while Matt was on stage. This bitch would never pay a fucking toonie to come into the R Bar to talk on the phone, okay? Man, we got to start charging at the fucking door. Keep these idiots out. The talking ruined Matt's chance to have a good set that night. And, you know, I wouldn't say he bombed, but he didn't, you know, I'm going to call it a no contest, man. He could not compete with all the fucking talking that was going on. Anything that I heard that Matt was doing up there with the new material, I fucking loved it, man. I loved what he was doing. But, yeah, he didn't have a big chance to crush, man. He was really up against the fucking odds there, and it was too bad. And, you know, whatever, man. This is comedy, you know, especially at the R Bar. It's survival. It's survival up there. Sometimes shit fucking pops off in the room. Listen, while all this was going on, I knew that I was coming up last, and I knew that all the karaoke fucking idiots would be back to the bar waiting for karaoke while I was on stage, and that happened, but we'll get to that. Hey, listen, Matt's album recording What the hell is wrong with my mouth right now? That's for you, Rev. He loves it when I smack my gums on the podcast. It pops Rev every time. So there you go, Rev. You're welcome. So Matt recorded an album, an audio album. He recorded. It might have been filmed too. Fuck, I can't remember. Anyway, it is available for pre-order right now. Just Google Matt Keenan, and you'll find a way to pre-order it. What I'm going to do... all right, sorry about that. I'm back. I had to reach out to Matt to find exactly where his album was available. So, anyway, it's called Matt Keenan. Nobody asked for this. This is his comedy album. You can pre-order it on iTunes right now. It'll be available on Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify, all of those platforms on April 1st. There's a whole bunch of other ways to get it, but just seek out Matt Keenan. Just Google him, and you'll find it. Listen, this is worth buying. I think he's got $10 on it or whatever he's got on it. It's comedy worth purchasing. Support the local scene. Check out, if you're not from this area, check out what, comedy in New Brunswick sounds like. If you're a comedy fan, pre-order that or wait till it comes out on April 1st and order it up. Matt Keenan, nobody asked for this. It's available for pre-order now on iTunes. And here is a quick clip of that.
I'm very close with my mom. One time she texted me and she was like, "Hey, I'm at Costco. They have burkas on sale." How big are you? And I was like, 4 inches, but I don't know if I can get an erection if you're all covered up, Mom. Maybe we're a little too close. I'm starting to reevaluate this whole relationship.
All right. Matt Keenan. Yeah, too bad about, that was a great fucking clip. Get this comedy recording. Pre-order it. Just do it. Get it. Okay? Support Matt, man. He supports this fucking scene big time. He's booking shows. He's making comics money. He's putting money in people's pockets. He's giving comics a place to work around here. He's a huge part of this fucking scene, and we should all support him. I'm going to pre-order my own copy, even though I saw the show live. Doesn't matter, man. I'm going to support the people who support me in this area, and you should all follow suit. Check out Matt Keenan, man, if you like comedy. But Matt, Saturday night at the R Bar, Jesus Christ, he was up against it. Fucking shame, man, because he has some good material going there. I think up next was Eric Chason. Eric got up and started out with a lot of political jokes, a lot of Trump jokes, a lot of political stuff that was not getting over with the crowd. Again, stingy fucking crowd. And he was able to pull it out a little bit in the end. He started getting onto some, some personal topics and shit like that. And he was able to, get his laughs. And, he survived the show as well. And who was up after that? Right before me. Oh, Brian Godso. Poor Brian Godso. I don't know. Now, listen, this was the R Bar. So my deal at the R Bar is right before I go on stage, I get high as fuck. So for the beginning of Brian's set, I was outside on the vaporizer. So I didn't hear what was going on. But I can tell you this from outside. I didn't hear a lot of laughter. It sounded pretty quiet inside, and it was making me a little trepidatious while I was preparing to go up. Anyway, I came back inside, caught, maybe the last half of his set. Brian's been trying some stuff. He's been working on these characters. He was doing this set, new set in this character voice, this character persona. I guess he did it Sunday night, like a couple nights before that or whatever. And it crushed, I guess, at McGill's. So I heard. But man, it fucking flopped at the art bar. It was crickets, man. It was very uncomfortable silences and nothing fucking doing. It was a tough spot for Brian, and I know he feels bad about it, and I don't mean to rub it in or anything like that, or, you know, I'm just reporting honestly on the fucking show. That's all I'm doing. And I know he wasn't fucking happy about it. You know, it's something you got to work on, man. When you're trying something new, it's not always going to go over, particularly if you're trying a character. If you're deviating from yourself at all, sometimes the audience can smell bullshit. The thing is, you know, Brian's been to the R Bar a number of times as Brian Godso, you know, using his own voice. And now he's showing up and he's out of character, or he's in character, a different character. And sometimes the crowd will smell bullshit on that, man. If you're not pulling it out, if you're not pulling it off 100%, it can be tough. That's a tough thing to do, man. And Brian's, you know, he's got some courage for trying something like that. And it's a learning experience, man. And that's all comedy is. Listen, you don't learn anything in comedy. You either get up and do well, and makes you stronger, or you don't do well, and that makes you stronger. You know, so big learning experience for Brian Godso there. Certainly doesn't mean he throws this character away, man. You just tweak it. You work on it. You do, you do what you got to do to survive. Anyway, it was a tough night for Brian Godso. Now, so Brian didn't really warm the crowd up for me very well, and John brought me right on stage immediately. So I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, man. Here's the thing. I expected to fucking bomb. I went up there with my fuck off with list. I had a new list again. And shit that I had written. Here's the thing, man. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. I had no clue what I was going to do. I've been so involved in this move. I've been busy at work. You know, I've been really, really busy lately. And I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. So I sat down Friday night. I said to the wife, Friday night is, you gotta just leave me alone, you know. But of course, work happened. I ended up working until like 8:30 Friday night. And when I came home, I cracked a Corona. I sat down, tried to focus on comedy. But, you know, my mind was all jacked up from fucking working a, 12 and a half hour day. I just, I couldn't focus. I couldn't get into it. I collected a couple ideas Friday night, bare bones stuff. And I said, well, fuck, man, I know what I have to do Saturday. I got to move all goddamn day. So anyway, I had a couple things jotted down. Friday night, I woke up Saturday morning and did the big move. I moved a fucking ton of stuff. I was moving stuff over. Wife was unpacking it as we go. And we did that till about 3:30 on Saturday. Finally got home around 4 o'clock, ready to sit down and figure out what the fuck I'm going to do at this show that starts in 4 hours. And, and that's exactly what I did. I sat down and I kicked around some ideas. I obviously didn't have time to type it all out or anything like that. I had to just, come up with some shit. And I borrowed a little bit from I took the very best part that I liked the most from the seniors bit that I did in the joke writing competition last month. And I threw that in there. I had a bit that I wrote maybe a year ago, like maybe March of 2017. I took a very little tiny bit from that bit. So there was a little bit of recycled stuff. And then I just, as I was, kind of fucking with that stuff a little bit, I started getting a couple good ideas. Things started coming out. Listen, this is the way my brain operates. I don't really get geared up for comedy until it's right fucking close to the comedy show. This was cutting it a little close. It was a little too close for my liking. But man, I pulled it out. I ended up with, probably 8 to 10 minutes, something like that. I had 6 things on this list. And I got up there, and I got to tell you, I was too fucking stoned. I really was. I was too high. I went a little fucking crazy on it. And I got up there, and I was lost. I was lost, man. I went up with a list. So I go up with a piece of paper. When I go to the R Bar, I go up with this piece of paper. It's a list. It says fuck off with at the top. And then whatever subjects I'm hitting, it's got, those subjects on the piece of paper and nothing else. And I go to the list, and I read off what it is. So I grab the list. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this fucking list or whatever. And I get into the list. I get into the first subject and I'm drawing a fucking blank. And then it kicked in. I'm like, okay, I know how to start this bit. But I wasn't able to finish the bit. I missed two of the big punches in that first subject that I started the list with. kind of upsetting. I was really lost. I was fucking lost in this set because, listen, man, I had maybe a half an hour to kind of, commit whatever I had written down to fucking memory. And that's not a lot of fucking, that's not a lot of time. And add on to it the fact that I'm high on stage and I've only done that 2 times before. It was, I was pretty nervous. Plus, it was Bomb fucking City, right? It was fucking the Syrian comedy show there. It was a tough crowd. So all those factors combined, I was fucking lost up there. Went back to the list. As I started getting comfortable on stage, the memory started coming back a little bit. But I'll tell you this, I got a great response, guy. I got a great response. Even got the karaoke idiots to, I brought them on my fucking side too and had all them howling at the back of the room. But here's how I did it, which is, was very interesting for me. The material that was there, the punchlines were there. Some stronger than others. There were a few softballs in there. But, man, I found a way physically to win that crowd over. I really took my time. I was stoned, right? So I was just being fucking goofy. And I just kind of, I'd look out at the crowd and gaze at them a certain way, or I'd hold a, I'd hold a fucking pose a certain way. I don't know what it was, man, but whatever I was doing physically is what the crowd was really responding to, more so than the material. And then when the material hit too, like near the end, man, the end of that set was actually pretty strong. I'm very happy with the material. I'll probably end up using some of that in a future set. Maybe even find some way to flesh that out a lot further for the Mike Damber show. I'm not entirely sure. I won't know until we get closer to those shows. But anyway, very, very happy with the material at the end of it. But it was the physicality. It was the stage presence and just the physical comedy I was putting into it that really won that crowd over for me. And I was super happy with the result. I don't know if I'd say I crushed because, man, I don't think it was possible to crush. But I did as well, way better than I expected before I stepped on the stage. Very, very happy with the way that set went. It's funny. Every time I've done this list, after I perform it, I talk to Arif Hussain and ask him what I thought. And he always kind of tells me that I bombed. And the weird thing is, I get like huge congratulations after I do those lists from all the comics, from people in the crowd. People dig it. I don't think Arif digs it. I don't know exactly what's going on. I got to have Arif on a podcast here coming right up and talk to him about that. He, because when I spoke to him after Saturday night after my set, he said something like, "Well, you must have expected that you were going to bomb," and I was like, "Well, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I heard a lot of laughter, even coming from the old fucks that came in for the karaoke." So anyway, I got to have Arif on it and chat about that. He doesn't seem to like these lists. I don't know what's going on there. It's a little fishy. Arif didn't want to give me the credit there Saturday night. And that's fine. Listen, I don't need credit. All I need is the laughter of the fucking crowd. I don't give a shit. Anyway, and that was the show at the R Bar, man. It was a very, very weird fucking night at the R Bar. And I guess we probably should have expected it. It was St. Patrick's Day. It's not just a regular day, Everyone's wearing green, drinking green beers, shamrocks and shenanigans. I fucking hate St. Patrick's Day. It's the stupidest fucking, it's not a holiday. Nobody gets it off fucking work. I don't know. I've never celebrated, even when I was, in my 20s and getting, drunk all the time. I never really celebrated St. Patrick's Day. I don't fucking get it. I've never needed an excuse to go out and get drunk. All right? And I hate people. And what happens on St. Patrick's Day is all the fucking idiots go out. They put on their green shit and their beads and their fucking flashing earrings and their fucking visors and their, just this stupid fucking shit. I don't know. I don't know what I have against it exactly. But I just, I don't know. I've never liked it. I've never been a huge fan of New Year's Eve, and I've never been a huge fan of St. Patrick's Day. I know they're the two big party days, right? And even when I was partying, couldn't fucking care less about those 2 days. Just party, goddammit. Right? You don't need a fucking big special day. It's St. Patrick's Day. I'm gonna party. Fucking stay home. All right? Or stay the fuck out of the R Bar anyway. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the R-Bar show, man, it was great, though, man. It was a great time. Listen, I have no problem watching comics bomb. I love it. I love to watch a good bomb. It's very entertaining. You know, last week I did a podcast, and you know, I talked to a guy. I went out to see this show. I'm not gonna mention it because this guy was, you know, a little fucking sour about it, I think. And I watched this guy perform, and he bombed, right? He fucking bombed. He ate dick for like 15 to 17 minutes. And listen, man, I'm honest on my podcast. You know, so I talked to him a little bit about it, and he was all uptight about it. And he didn't want me fucking saying anything on the podcast about it. So whatever, you know, I respect the guy's wishes, whatever. But listen, guys, you're going to fucking bomb. I'm going to bomb, you know. Everybody's going to fucking bomb. It's a part of it. You shouldn't take it to heart and take it so goddamn serious. It's part of the fucking process. Sure, it sucks, right? It does. Especially if it's a paid show, if it's a big deal to you. It sucks. But listen, we're all going to fucking bomb. It's a part of the process. Don't let it get to your head, man. Just get up next time and fucking kill. Learn from what you did wrong. Try to improve on it and get better. That's it. Get better. And then no one will talk about you bombing, I guess. That's all I can say. Oh, I should. You know, this is the Spludecast, man. I should fucking out this guy. I'm not gonna. You know what? I don't need any fucking beefs, new beefs in 2018, right? I just don't need it. But you know you fucking bombed, dude. Fuck, just be honest about it. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, yeah, that's that, man. I got the move going on. Oh, by the way, so I'm building this podcast studio in the new house. And what that means is I'm going to fall back in love with podcasting, man. I'm upgrading a lot of my gear. I think I mentioned that already. I don't know why I'm fucking saying it again. See, I'm bombing right now. See, we all bomb, right? That's the way it goes. I bomb every intro I do on here. I don't know. That's not true, actually. I got to, for the, the Matt Richardson podcast, I think I did a 7-minute intro. Whew, got a little backlash. Not going to lie. Got a little backlash for slacking off on the intro. So I said, well, this week I got to sit down and I got to do at least 20 minutes because, honestly, some people just listen to this for the fucking intro. They've told me that. So whatever. Anyway, yeah, so I decided, I've got this podcast studio. I'm going to upgrade shit. I'm going to have a really cool space. So I'm going to do something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time. I've been thinking about starting a second podcast. Listen, one of my, of course, comedy is a huge passion in my life. Another huge passion in my life is mixed martial arts. I love MMA. And I've always wanted to do an MMA podcast. A lot of guests I have on here follow MMA. Trevor, Travis, the Rev. God, so I've had a lot of guests on here that do follow MMA, so we do get talking about it a little bit, but I'm going to start an MMA podcast. I don't know if it's going to be weekly. It might be bi-weekly. Bi-weekly probably be better. Have more shit to talk about, more news and rumors, and I'm going to have a co-host. I'm not going to reveal who that co-host is just yet. I have reached out to him. It's not exactly set in stone, but I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be probably bi-weekly. Really looking forward to it. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. I'm not going to release the co-host, but I'm going to have a co-host. We're going to do an MMA podcast. Going to try to make it as fun as possible. Not going to be a long podcast, right? An hour or less every other week, something like that. And I'm excited, man. I can't wait to sit down and talk about. Now, I'm going to have a co-host, but we're also going to have guests on too. Anybody who wants to be involved in this MMA podcast, who's listening, reach out. Even if you're not from this area, we'll have you on Skype, and we'll get you on this MMA show. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking to all kinds of different people about the sport of MMA. And, here's the thing. I used to run a fight store, man. I've met a lot of pro fighters. I got a lot of pro fighter contacts. Maybe I can get some of these guys, to Skype in on and have some, some real guests. Maybe I'll get Matt Serra on here, Matt Hamill, Big Daddy Gary Goodrich. I've got a lot of contacts for a lot of fighters for Doom. So maybe that's the route I'm going to take. Probably not initially. You're going to get it fired up, do a few episodes, and then we'll think about that down the road. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I am going to be taking this little break, There's not going to be a podcast next week. Episode 83 will be 2 weeks away from right now. And that's just the way it's going to be. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just too fucking busy. You know, I got to focus on the shit I need to get done in my life. But when I do come back, there's going to be two podcasts for you guys to listen to. If you're digging the MMA, not a podcast for Mr. St. John Forward. And I got to tell you something, John. That doesn't mean we never talk about MMA on the SPLUDECAST ever again either. Okay? So don't get your hopes up too fucking high. Who doesn't like MMA? I don't like people punching people in front of people. That's not something I like. You know, he's just not a... John's just not a sports fan. You know, I get it. I understand. Actually, I don't. I don't understand, but I'm sure there's lots of things that John Forward's into that I myself am not into. But yeah, I don't understand the not liking sports. What's not to like? It's competition, baby. Anyway, really pumped for that. That's some shit that's coming up in the future. Coming up right now is episode 82 of the SPLUDECAST with Dan McCarthy. So, listen, this is a great chat, man. I had a great fucking time talking to Dan McCarthy for a couple hours. Really, really enjoyed it, and you will too. So why don't you sit down, kick your feet up, have a drink, have a smoke, whatever you're going to do, whatever you need to drive her right the fuck into you. Do it.
Can fuck off and go to hell. Goddamn, why they criticize me? Now shit is on the rise, so my family despise me. Fuck them and feed them, cause I don't need them. I won't join them if I can beat them. They don't understand my logic. I got my money and I'm hooked on chronic. I never wanted to hurt a nigga unless you come flexing that trigger. I dig ya. That grave on the east side of town, and you're 6 feet underground. From man to the dust to the ashes, all I remember. Tell me what the click, clack, barrel at my dome. Dip or you loot or you ain't going home. But I ain't going out with a bang. Wa-da-da-dang, wa-da-da-da-dang. I'm having illusions, all this confusion driving me mad inside. I'm having illusions, all this confusion fucking me up in my mind. I'm having illusions, all this confusion driving me mad inside. I'm having illusions, all this confusion fucking me up in my mind. Motherfuckers be driving me up the walls, hoping that I fall, but they can hit my balls. Straight jacket, strap it in the padded room.
All right, we're fired up.
Okay.
Dan McCarthy back on the SPLUDECAST. Dan, you are the final guest in SPLUDECAST Studios, this original SPLUDECAST Studios.
I'm going to miss the place.
How do you feel about that?
I honored and yet it's shamed at the same time.
Yeah. Actually, I shouldn't call it SPLUDECAST Studios because this originally started as Jamie Land Studios. She had a podcast before me.
Port City Podcast.
Port City Podcast.
Yes,
yeah, see,
I
you're
remember
fucking paying attention.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Right around the time that I was trying to break into comedy, I was kind of trying to like creep on some of the local comics.
Sure.
And that was one of the things that came up when I Googled John Forward, was he was on a Port City Podcast.
Oh, was he? Was
yeah,
John on?
I think so. I think it was John.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Maybe that's why the podcast tanked. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, John's come a long way in the past 3 years.
Sure, yeah. Have you've done St. John Forward Radio, haven't you?
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I quite like that. It's a cool idea that he just does a radio show. As far as I know, they don't charge him anything. Right?
Yeah.
He makes all that professional equipment to do a podcast with. That's pretty sweet.
It's nice that you got the built-in studio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not always a fan of the music.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of my listeners aren't a fan of the music I play at the start of mine either. So,
yeah. Well, you switched it up a couple times, though, right?
Yeah.
You don't always do the same song.
Yeah. Cypress Hills usually, that stays the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stays the same. Yeah. So what's going on, Dan? What's happening with you these days in fucking comedy?
I'm trying to get as many shows in as I can. So my newest.
Are you dying? Or is this,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thank you for breaking
yeah.
this on the SPLUDECAST.
Yeah. Doctors say I don't have any more than 70 or 80 more years in me.
Is
so,
that right,
yeah,
eh?
Yeah.
I think you're fucking reaching there, bud. I don't think you're going to be...
I could be 110. Why not?
I don't think so.
Medical-
Wait, are you 40 now?
I'm 30.
You're 30.
31.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're 40, but you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I know,
for
right?
40.
Yeah.
Until rough
smile.
for 30. But
Until I smile and my eyes do this wrinkly shit.
yeah. You're just you're 30?
31.
31.
Yeah. Getting old.
So, yeah, and you were just at Yucks, right? Mm-hmm. So our friend Matt Richardson headlined there.
Yes, which is the reason I went to begin with.
Yeah.
I try to go out and support local as much as I can.
Yeah.
And how much can you be supporting local than, one of our own headlining Yucks, right?
Yeah,
So,
pretty exciting.
yeah.
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 So what happened? How did you get the guest spot? Because I was out there with you Thursday night,
Yeah.
right? Me, you, Matt,
Yeah.
and John and Arf.
Well, the intention was to try to get a guest spot that night, but
Right.
I figured I showed up a little bit later than I had expected, and it was just about showtime, and he said it's just a little too close, couldn't really tell the host and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that was fair enough. And then he said, well, anytime, and I said, well, how about tomorrow? And yeah, sure enough, he said there's no one else signed up for it, so I just messaged him that morning, and I got it. And I did very, very well when I did. It was
what I heard.
one of the better shows I've ever done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to make it back there as often as I can now, because I think that's probably my best chance to get as much stage time as I can get.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Now, was that your first time at Yucks?
Second time.
Second time. When was the first time?
It was back in June, because same idea. It was Jimmy McKinley and Andrew Vaughn were headlining.
Co-hosting.
Co-headlining.
Yeah.
So Jimmy being the first New Brunswicker that got to headline it, I went out in support of Jimmy. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I got the guest spot that night too. But
Nice. And how did it go for you that night?
great.
Yeah.
Great. Very different styles of comedy I was doing. I didn't just do straight one-liners this past time.
Oh, really?
I kind of, there's still one-liners, but I'm working them into bits now.
Yeah.
So it's, I have one-liners, but they're about specific topics, and I just lump them together. So that's exactly what a bit is, right? It's just a series of
absolutely.
jokes, so
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just trying to work on those a little bit.
But you're
more.
doing transitions, obviously, in between
Somewhat.
them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 So
It's not
ki-
like my normal one-liner stuff where I'm just.
So kind of one-liners with a longer setup almost.
Yeah, kind of. Just try to save the best one for the last part of the bit, and then transition. Yeah.
So how much time? What'd you do? 5?
I was told to do 5 to 7, and I think I did about 6. So
Nice.
just right in the middle. Yeah.
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 That's not too bad. I did a guest spot there for Mike Wilmot
Okay. Yeah.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
And
never
Mike's
seen-
a great guy.
Yeah, I've never seen his stand-up, but I've seen him like on TV as an actor a lot.
Yeah,
like, he
right.
was on at Corner Gas. He's been on a whole bunch of other Canadian TV and stuff. I've never seen his stand-up.
Yeah, his stand-up's really good.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Loves to talk.
Yeah.
If you're in a green room with Mike, don't expect to say anything.
Yeah.
Just open your ears.
Yeah.
That's it. And Mike will fucking talk you through it.
Yeah. We all know a few comics like that.
Oh, there's a lot of comics like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we do it, right? We get to go up on stage and talk, and no one can talk back. And
We're good at talking.
exactly.
That's the idea.
Well, some are. I don't know if
Yeah,
you heard
there's-
all the SPLUDECasts.
That's fair
but,
enough. Fair enough.
Not all the comics are great at talking, but, But I'm lucky I got Dan here. You know what was funny? We're moving, so I found this old notebook of mine, and it was almost full of old Spawn notes and bits that when I was writing that bit on the radio.
Yep.
But sandwiched right between all those Spawn ideas was a list of questions, and I'm reading them and I'm going, who the fuck did I ask these questions to? What the fuck is? And it was actually a list of questions I had to ask you the last time you were on the SPLUDECast.
Okay.
Because I got down the list and I was like, what's the difference between doing one-liners now and doing full bits like you used to do? I'm like, holy fuck. And the strange thing is, I almost never make any notes for guests. Before I found that list, I had made this fucking list sitting here right beside me. I'm like, geez, I don't know why when Dan comes over, I'm making these lists. Maybe it's because it's so rare that you go out on stage and you come to the SPLUDECast. Maybe that's why. It's a special occasion.
Also, I'm kind of a big deal. I'm intimidating. Right?
You are a little bit of a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm intimidated by any of the comics on this scene.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, I think Nick Coombs would probably have to take up a mic.
Yeah.
And even then, I've punched him in the face so many times. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but he is an intimidating fella. He is a godsend at Chuckles because no one says a word.
It's perfect, man. That's every show needs a Nick Coombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be handy to have it pretty well any show.
Yeah, big time. You see him, and I love to watch him work when he's working at Chuckles, and he just kind of slowly moves over to the table and leans down and whispers to them. I don't even want to know what he whispers to them.
Yeah.
You shut up, or I'm going to take you out back and fuck you in the ass.
Yep.
I don't know what he said. Not saying that Nick's gay by any means.
He might be.
Hey, Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there isn't. There isn't. But Wendy's a really nice lady, so I like to think that he's not.
Listen. We're gonna exit. That's that whole deal. Nothing's. That's all over. Yeah, we don't. We don't mention those two in the same sentence now.
Okay,
fact,
gotcha.
It's over and badly.
Wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, not good.
Wasn't aware of that. Sorry, everybody.
When was the last time you did Chuckles Comedy Club?
I did February
recently. Yeah.
Christina Walkinshaw.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I missed that show. I try to get out to every Chuckles show, and I missed that, unfortunately. I've missed a lot of your recent performances, unfortunately.
Yeah. It happens.
What do you got coming up?
Nothing on the nothing at the moment, but I'm just
right now.
Nothing booked. But I'm just kind of trying to fly by the seat of my pants and just try to get stuff more last minute, if at all possible. Yeah. Wife works shift work. We got 2 small kids, and it's a lot easier to find out a couple days ahead of time that, oh, you're off Thursday night, maybe I can go get a spot at Chuckles, or oh, you're off Sunday, I'll see if I can talk to Matt and Sam and see if I can get a Sunday afternoons or evening spot.
Yeah, short notice kind of deal.
Yeah.
How much notice do you get? Does she get a schedule 2 weeks or 1 week?
She gets a few weeks out, and but a lot of the times there's a lot of overtime to be picked up, and when you're making time and a half and stuff, it's hard to say no to. So
yeah. Listen, man, you're preaching to the choir here when Sugar Mama's got to work.
Yeah.
Sugar Mama's got to work,
That's
baby.
That's right. I can go out and make like $10, hon. Like, you mean your time and a half, 12-hour shift isn't? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. But it's the dream, Dan.
It is the dream.
It's the dream.
It is.
John Arif and I are doing a show at Pub Down Under April 13th.
Yeah.
We could probably use a guest spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like 10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
We did a show together at Hell's Basement.
Yeah, how was that?
Man, you got to get up to that venue.
Yeah.
Dude. You will love that venue.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. Shannon, the guy that runs that room, that owns that bar, he is so committed to comedy. He wants to bring fucking comedy there every night of the week if he can.
That's great.
Yeah, man. Dambra's coming in town, and he asked me if I could find him a show for Thursday. I said, fuck, I don't know, man. That's, you know what I mean? Thursday night show. I reached out to Shannon, offered it to him, and he fucking grabbed it. He's like, fuck, yes.
Nice.
Man, he's awesome. That room, when we did it a couple weeks ago, just on fire. That room was on fire, man. Beautiful room. It's a long, kind of narrow venue. There's a couple pillars, but they're not really in the way. Red curtain behind the stage. Man, it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I saw it kind of in construction on Facebook. Scott Campagna had something to do with it and was helping him out with.
Oh, is that
with
right?
Something.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's from Moncton too, right?
Yeah.
But I'd always heard nothing but bad things about doing stand up in Moncton.
Yeah, you probably heard a lot of them from me.
Yeah, well, not just you, but
yeah.
Like, a lot of people just don't. I think it's a language barrier thing, right? Because they do shows that are in both languages. They do French shows and they do English shows. But if you're doing an English show, people who speak French are going to show up. If you're doing a French show, people who speak English are going to show up.
Yeah.
And you're just dividing the crowd, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of people are bilingual, but not necessarily to an extent where they can enjoy comedy of a different language.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's venue based too.
Yeah.
A lot of these venues are not used to comedy.
Yeah.
Even fucking like Marty D did a show. Maybe he's still doing it. I'm not sure. I'm off social media, but he used to do these shows at the Igloo once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is he still doing those?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen anything about it, but possibly. I know that I was talking to Glenn K. Amo.
Yeah.
I had to specify the K.
Yeah, sure.
The
not
other
to be
Glenn
confused,
Amo.
but yeah.
I was talking to him in the green room at Yucks, and he's been doing some French language shows. And he's English, Anglophone, but he's been doing just a couple of French language shows and kind of trying to talk me into it a little bit.
Does Glenn speak French?
Yes, but like conversational, not as a first language. And,
right. So is he doing his sets in English?
No, he's doing he's doing sets in French on the French show. And I'm considering trying it because I went through immersion, so
sure.
I have enough French knowledge that I think I could probably pull a little bit out.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you could do comedy in French, you can make a living in Quebec.
Oh, I know.
Like a fucking living.
Yeah.
Like there are comedy gods in like quote unquote gods in Quebec that we've never heard of, but that make a fucking tremendous living just in the province of Quebec.
Yeah.
Touring around doing comedy in French. You know?
Well, there's so little entertainment that's catered to the language, right?
That's right.
Because they are a bilingual country, quote unquote.
Yeah, but they're really
it's like 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and even in this province, you know, as the further you go north, it gets pretty French.
Yeah.
But the main cities, even Moncton.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to go into Moncton. It's not like when you go into Quebec and you go to Tim Hortons and they're speaking French. You go into Tim Hortons in Moncton, it's English.
Yeah.
You know, it's English. Unless you speak French, they're probably all bilingual.
Yeah.
But no, what I was getting at is the venue with Marty D
Yeah.
was the Igloo.
Yeah.
And he had been doing this show for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I figured this is a great, you know, this is a fucking a venue that's established for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I get up there the same night of the show. They're doing an NHL. The Stanley Cup is in the building, and just right around the corner from the stage, same venue. The local fucking NHL hero is there with the Stanley Cup doing autographs and pictures and everything. At the exact same time as the comedy show. Like, the comedy's just not respected there.
Yeah.
And it may be, and this is what I worried about when Yucks came here, it may be a symptom of, you know, they had a Yucks there and it failed.
Yes.
So, you know, in my mind, it maybe gives a perception to the public like comedy has failed here.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't get the respect there. I don't know.
It doesn't. I mean, you know as well as I do that it doesn't get the respect it deserves anywhere.
Anywhere, for sure.
But it's in a place where Yucks came, saw, didn't conquer. It might be a little bit more. I wouldn't say frowned upon necessarily, but disrespected.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's really unfortunate, and I really hope it doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
But Steve's probably a lot smarter than that owner. Steve's opening his venue up for, you know, other comedy shows, for musical stuff, fundraisers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, between that and his ticket sales, he can keep it afloat.
Here's hoping, because it's a beautiful club.
Oh man, how fun is that stage?
Oh my God, it's great.
I love that stage.
It's
man.
great. The layout is awesome. The atmosphere with the exposed beams above your head and stuff, and the lighting and
I don't know
everything.
if the layout's awesome because
I like that.
It's kind of like you got to go
wide.
left and then center and then right. It's pretty wide. You know?
It is, but I kind of like that.
Listen, I've loved. I've only performed there twice, just like you.
Yeah.
And I've loved both times, man. I had a fucking blast in that club both times.
Yeah. I think it's a really good time, and I think that there is a little bit of local. I wouldn't necessarily say animosity towards it, but there's some doubters, perhaps.
I think there is a little bit of animosity.
Yeah.
I think there is. I think it's going away a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I think, man? Like, really, Yucks should be our club.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're local comics.
Yeah.
That should be our club.
Yeah.
I don't know why we don't really embrace it.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah.
You know, admittedly, I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not completely sure why either.
Yeah.
You know?
We have to take it. We can't expect it to be given to us, right? We were established as a comedy scene before they arrived, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to automatically get booked at this big national chain just because we were here first.
Yeah.
You know, if the mom and pop shops being taken over by Walmart, as it were.
Yeah.
They don't just go to the mom and pop shop and be like, hey, you want a job? You have to go get the job.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's the same with being a comic, is you have to go out there and you have to make yourself available to them, and you have to be kind and cordial and hope that it works out for you as well.
So what Dan really means here is you have to kiss Yuck's ass.
Yeah,
if you
totally.
want to get on their fucking stage.
You just got to be nice. You don't have to kiss anyone.
And that's not hard, is it? Being nice?
No.
It seems hard in like today's age.
Yeah.
It seems like people are having a real hard time being nice.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty easy.
Yeah, it really is. Just being a kind person is not that bad.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any beef that exists between Steve and I. He seems a little standoffy every time I see him. But he reached out and offered me amateur night. Wanted me to come and do amateur night, and I did.
Yeah.
And then he reached out and offered me a guest spot for Mike Wilmot.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if I went there every week and hung out and asked for guest spots, I could probably get to a middling spot there pretty easily.
Yeah.
And I know that. I'm just not motivated to do it.
Yeah. You see, that's what is motivating me right now to try to get out there a little bit more often if I can, is to get those middling spots.
Yeah.
Because with the busy life, as I had previously mentioned, it'd be really nice to get paid shows in St. John.
Yeah, paid
shows. Yeah. I know guest spots aren't paid, but that's okay. That's not what I'm going there for.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
you're going there for the stage time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's one thing you can go to like a No Jokes Barred or No Jokes Barred Deluxe or a Sunday Laughter Dark or any of our local open mics, and they're great, and I have a blast while I'm there.
Sure.
but it's not a ready-made crowd.
Yeah.
You know, the other night it was quote unquote a slow night, and they still had 50 odd people there.
Yeah.
So
and that's true. If you can get up and perform in front of 50 people,
yeah,
that's a great fucking time.
Yeah. And that's not to say that it's any better. That you're not going to have a better time necessarily than you would if you were performing for 5 people, as you and I both have many times.
Oh yeah.
But it's nice to, if you're trying out new stuff, or it's a better gauge of how you're doing. I feel to have more people in the room.
Yeah, for sure. And people who came there specifically for comedy, because let's be honest, sometimes in these venues around town, you don't know what you're going to get from a crowd, right?
That's right.
When
everyone
these guys
there
are coming to.
That's right.
You know, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know exactly what it is. Why the comics haven't embraced it? Maybe because we built the scene, we started it, you know, and maybe it's because when Yucks came. Steve kind of aligned himself with the Mollingers, and the Burnett's and stuff. Yeah. And why wouldn't he, first of all?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he?
It's smart business.
Yeah, exactly. And for a guy who doesn't know a lot about the scene.
Yeah, that's right.
And here we are, like, for me particularly, as an artist, quote unquote.
I believe it's totally art. I see nothing wrong with
there is an art to it, man. If writing is an art, like if a novelist is an artist in some way, or any kind of live performance is art, it's definitely art. 100%. But anyways, me as a comic, if I'm sitting back and they're bringing in Halifax comics to headline and to middle and stuff, and I'm looking around RC and going, well, this guy could do that. This guy, and me personally, I know I could do that. I could middle Yucks. And do a better job than a lot of people that they have on there. That's not the point, right?
Yeah.
The point is that those people that they're booking to middle have gone through the Yuck system.
Yes.
They've hung around Yucks in Halifax for 4 or 5 years.
That's right.
They paid their dues, did their guest spots, right? But it still is aggravating when I'm sitting in my town and there's a comedy club there. And the owner knows I'm a decent comic.
Yes,
I'm a consistent comic. Why isn't this fucking guy booking me?
Yeah.
But it's not. That's not the reality of the situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not how it works.
It's
with
not how it
with
works.
them, it's not like Chuckles, where Shane or Julie will reach out to you specifically because they've seen you do comedy or they've heard you're good or whatever. Right. They have a system and they have to go by that system, and you have to respect the way they do it. Unfortunately,
you just have to go along with it.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
I mean, the guys who book the shows in Toronto, it's not like they have their ear to the fucking ground here in New Brunswick. And
exactly.
Go, oh, that guy's ripping it up, or that guy's terrible. They really don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And the only way for them to know is if you do guest spots and stuff like that, and they get feedback. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the animosity, even though I have it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't really understand it. You know. And I'm a kind of guy that enjoys self-reflection.
Yes.
And it's not one subject that I've sat down and really reflected on. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Well,
but I'm not the kind of guy either that chases sets.
No. No, but chasing and going about it through a system is not necessarily the same thing. Like chasing would be if you go in week after week after week, and sometimes you throw you a bone.
Right.
I've asked twice and I've gotten 2 sets.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult thing to get.
Yeah,
and
right.
It really hit me when it was supposed to be somebody else middling, but Glenn ended up middling this past weekend.
Right. That's right. It's supposed to be Mark Harnett.
Mark Harnett, yeah. And the reason that Glenn was called was because he's in the system, or he's on their books.
Yeah, he's a friend of Yucks.
Yeah,
yeah,
as it were. And he was the closest one.
Yeah.
And he's in Moncton.
Yeah.
We have the club here, and not one St. John comic is on those books. And I think that's a bit of a travesty, honestly.
For sure it is.
Yeah.
Because there's good comics here.
There's really good comics here. There's no reason that all of us can't do the same thing.
Yeah. Now, there is a shortage of great comics here.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of great comics here.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of good comics.
Yeah, you can count on one hand the amount of really, really good talent in this scene. But you can, there's a lot of people who are at least competent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there are some people who have, started in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Who are really getting fucking good.
Yeah.
Who
Chris
are
Hovey is ridiculous.
Chris Hovey is ridiculous. Matt Keenan.
Yeah.
Sam Laidman most of the time. He hit a little rough patch there. Late fall.
Yeah.
But that happens. I saw that happen with Travis.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to a lot of comics. You start out hot,
yep.
right? And everyone's saying, "Oh, you're a fucking killer. You're a killer."
Yep.
And then you lose your voice a little bit, right? I mean, when you're a year in or a little over a year in, you don't even have your voice.
No.
So maybe when you started, your voice that you were using was fucking great.
Yeah.
But as It's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
It's peaks and valleys.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Speaking of that, what's been your biggest bomb, do you think, Dan?
It was.
Because I've never seen you, like, fully bomb.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that I ever have fully bombed.
Right.
But Sunday Laughter Dark.
Yeah. I'm not even sure these count, but keep going.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was in front of about 4 people that weren't comedians, you know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
but
And about 10 who were.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you remember a couple years ago when I did the father suicide thing for Lloyd Raven show.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a great bit, dude.
Thank
that
you.
was a great
Thank
3
you.
minutes. Yeah.
I expanded on that, and I took it to first time I did it was No Jokes Bar Deluxe,
Right.
In December. I think it was December, yeah. And it did okay. I
Yeah.
thought it did really well. Well, considering the subject matter.
Did you do 15?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it was about 8 minutes of that. So I thought it did okay, and then I decided that I'm going to be headlining Laughter Dark because it was right after Roast Battle was over, and they wanted the winner to do the next month for headlining. I was
Right.
okay. Sorry. And
I was busy that night anyway.
okay. Yeah, you guys were filming Hard Times or something, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So
award-winning web series.
I quite enjoy it. But I went up to do that show at McGill's.
Right.
And Chris Hovey, as you know, is a bringer.
Yeah.
That dude brings people to the shows
Absolutely.
more than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
He's a little sensitive about it, though. Don't bring it up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And one of the people that he brought happened to be my mom's best friend from when my dad killed himself, like around that time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, and I haven't
Christ.
seen her in 15 years. It's been a long time. And she sees me, she immediately knows who I am, obviously. I look fairly different, but, you know,
Sure.
she still knows me, and I
Yeah.
still know her, obviously. And from then on, I was just like, oh, great. Now I get to do 8 minutes of dad suicide jokes in front of, you know, my mom's bestie.
Man, that's got to fuck with your head.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. And it did. And my heart just wasn't in it from that point. But I had
Yeah.
nothing else planned. So I still did it. And I put my head down. And I did the material.
Yeah.
A lot of the laughs didn't hit. But I still wouldn't call it a bomb.
Yeah.
Because it was a 15-minute set, so there was probably like 45 punchlines in there total.
Right.
And I'd still say 23 or 24 of them hit. I'd
Yeah,
still did
that's-
over half.
Yeah, that's
But-
not a bomb. It's just a bomb in your mind.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not the response you want.
Yeah. And being the one-liner guy that I am, I know when a joke doesn't get a laugh and when to move on.
Sure.
So if you're waiting, you don't do the pause, the break, you know, your little laugh break that you always have in your head after a punchline hits.
Yeah. You
Nothing
just barrel
happens.
through to the
Just
next
keep
one.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't consider it's tough to put a bomb tag on Laughter Dark or especially Laugh-ternoons when that was happening.
Yeah.
Because my last bomb was probably Laugh-ternoons.
I remember that bomb.
Yeah. And you know, even that one I don't consider a bomb because I did get some decent laughs with that one.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of silence too.
Yeah.
I dropped a lot of aggressive feminist stuff.
I remember.
That didn't get over with everybody.
Yeah.
But I had my moments in that set.
Yeah.
But I don't really consider that a bomb when it was, you know, it's the middle of the fucking afternoon on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That venue, I almost give a pass to people. If I ask people about a bomb like I just did to you and they say, Laugh-ternoons, Laughter Dark, I'm like, that one doesn't really count.
Yeah,
you know?
that's fair.
It's starting to because the audiences are really growing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's starting to. I think maybe in another month we're going to have to start counting those bombs.
Yeah.
You know, if we get the same kind of turnout.
Yeah.
Were you there to watch that last set list?
No, I haven't been to a set list yet, and I want to desperately.
Dude, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The last one, you know, there weren't a lot of great laughs, you know, but it was a really fun show to watch, you know, to experience. Yeah.
I've always wanted to
Are you
try
planning
it.
on trying it?
Absolutely. If they're still doing them by the time I'm able to do one, absolutely. But I've just the past, I guess the third one's coming up in the end of the month, and I just haven't had. It just hasn't been a good date for me.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to do a little bit more crowd work, do a little bit more off the cuff stuff.
Yeah.
Because I am capable of being funny off the cuff, but when I do stand up, I try to be as prepared as possible.
Absolutely.
So the idea of that this show is supposed to be off the cuff and that there's no way to really fail.
Yeah.
It's kind of a safety net to it, you know,
Yeah.
where you can try it without fear of judgment.
Yeah, no one expects you to have the best material of the night because you don't know what the fuck you're gonna say, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't like it, man. I don't like improv. I really don't.
No, I
but
don't.
I believe I'm gonna try it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Improv to me is a beautiful form of entertainment because it combines a live show with gambling on whether or not it will actually be entertaining.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it can be god awful.
It can be real terrible, man. I hate it. I don't like to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Whose line is it anyway? Or
I do like that.
I hate it.
But
I hate it.
I'd say there's probably 1 million people on Earth who have tried improv at some point in time, and I think there's about 5 people that are good at it.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and that's being generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Wayne Brady can make up a song on the spot any given time.
Right.
It's really an impressive skill.
Sure.
It's only marketable in that particular type of entertainment,
Yeah.
but it's impressive. And some of those guys are capable of coming up with some really, really, really funny stuff. But man, it's going to fail more often than it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
And to me, it just it's a little bit on the sketchy side of calling it entertainment.
It kills me because if any time I've done anything like that, like when I get home. And later on, I think of something that I should have said that was way better.
Yeah.
And it fucking kills me.
Yeah.
I'm OCD, it fucking drives me crazy.
If you could have done a joke better, it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
That's even worse than when it bombs.
Yeah.
If you could have just made it better. You forget a tag, or you could have phrased it just a little bit better, or you stumble over your words or something.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
It's the worst. It kills me. The very first time I ever did the R-Bar.
Yeah.
I was on stage. It was a rowdy fucking crowd. Hadn't done comedy in 13 months.
Yep.
And John Ford puts me to close the fucking show.
Yeah.
And there was like 3 drunk fucking idiots right in the table up front. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys said to me, I eventually shut them down. 2 of the 3 left. The other guy who stayed was a very good sport through it. I got a video of it. But anyway, the one guy said, where's your soccer ball? I don't know why I was wearing a pair of sneakers. I'm not sure why he said it, but he's, where's your soccer ball? And I just looked at him and I said, shut the fuck up. And then when I got home, I thought to myself, when he said, where's your soccer ball? I should have said, it's on top of your shoulders. Should I kick it?
Okay.
And it still eats to me. Like that was, the start of 2014, Dan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
4 years later, it still drives me crazy.
Yep.
I didn't fucking say that because it's a great line.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And
that's the one that hurts the most.
That's the one that hurts the fucking most,
Yeah.
Anyway, staying on the topic of Sunday Laughter Dark / afternoons, afternoons. How come you didn't get involved in the joke writing contest? I was really hoping for a little redemption.
Believe me.
Against Dan McCarthy in that fucking deal.
I wanted to be.
Right.
Badly.
But what happened?
Just bad
Schedule.
date. Just a bad date.
Yeah.
And that happens to me a lot. And it's going to keep happening to me until my kids are old enough to, be on their own for the evening,
Yeah.
Give it another 7 or 8 years when my boy will be like 13 and he can stay by himself till 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those days are great. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, my boy's at a point I can leave whenever I want.
Yeah.
He comes to half of my shows anyway.
I've seen him out.
Yeah, which is fucking great.
Yeah.
But how about that roast battle with you and I?
That was amazing.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
No, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I went harder on you, obviously, than I would have on anybody else.
Sure.
I knew it was going to be me and you in the end. I knew that when I saw the brackets.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
What about Arif, though? I mean, I had to face fucking Arif in the first round.
That is hard.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I know I'm going to sound like a petty asshole.
Sure.
But that roast where I went up against Arif just in the exhibition, I won that shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that I got called it got called a loss on my part kills me.
Yeah, it eats away at you, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's I honestly, I think the call was right because of the overtime.
Okay.
But I don't think it should have gone the overtime.
Yeah.
I would have given you the victory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But in the overtime, you used something you'd used before.
Yeah.
So now, as far as the crowd knew, they didn't know fuck all.
Yeah, but I had to come clean about it.
But if you hadn't have, you might have won it.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
But even when I do watch back in the video, and I turn my headphones up way high so I can hear all the applause from the 12 people in attendance. I'm like, I can hear 5 people clapping for Arif, and I can hear fucking 7 clapping for me.
Yeah. See, you know what's funny? I had the same experience. And again, this is all fucking petty, right? But it's competition.
It
man.
is.
You want to win.
It's the only thing I've ever been competitive with.
Yeah.
Ever. I'm not.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a competitive guy.
Really?
Yeah, I love video games. I'm bad at all of them.
Yeah.
I never really got into sports or anything, but The only thing I've ever really been competitive with is this, and I was on the trivia team in high school.
Right.
And I was fairly good at it, but the rest of the team sucked, so I never got competitive with that, just knowing that we were going to go in and lose.
Yeah, you already knew you were the best, too. So.
Yeah.
So, because it's interesting to hear that because you and I have always had a little bit of competition between us.
Yeah, we're somewhat rivals, but in a very, very friendly way.
Just a jabbing, kind of way. But it's funny that you say that because when we did the joke writing contest, and it came down to Godso and I.
Yeah,
we did our sets and it went to the crowd. In my mind, there was no doubt that the crowd was for me over Godso.
Yeah,
and they called a second vote.
Oh.
And I didn't say nothing, right? I'm like, okay, because Godso did good.
Yeah,
no argument there.
Yeah,
but I was the same as you. I'm like, what are you talking about? The fucking crowd already picked me. And we're going again. But anyway, the roast battle. I'm over it now, which is nice.
Yeah, I could tell it hit you.
It took a while.
Yeah,
I said something shitty to you on stage.
That's
after.
okay.
Yeah, no, I felt fucking stupid about it. Right after, as soon as I said I felt immediately miserable about it. It was I was not in a good place mentally. Hated my job.
Yeah.
I couldn't even enjoy the hunt.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't enjoying anything that was going on. And but yeah, it fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt because what's funny about comedy is I've never tasted defeat in comedy.
Yeah.
There's been the odd time like in Fredericton, July 7th, 2016. I'll never forget the fucking date. I bombed at Wilsers. And it was the worst feeling ever. Yeah. And after that, I never lost at comedy.
Yeah.
Whether it was, a competition like the Battle of the Comedians.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it was just being the best on that night.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've ever lost.
Yeah.
So that was fucking tough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but it was a lot of fun at the same time.
I also haven't felt the loss except for the time with RF, but it was still a mental victory for me because I felt like I did win. But and I know that's again sounds petty and shitty, but I didn't feel like it was a real loss because A, it was an exhibition thing, and B, I felt like the crowd was still on my side for a decent amount.
Yeah.
But again,
RF hit you twice good.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. But I got him good too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But the doing the best that night. I'm not going to claim that I've done better than the headliners I've opened for at Chuckles and stuff.
Right.
But, as far as people...
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. But as far as, being on the same playing field as everybody, I don't feel like I have been bested.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're a very strong comic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like to toot my own horn about it, but I can tell based on the reactions I get versus the reactions other people get. It's no
mystery.
No,
right?
exactly.
It's no mystery
exactly.
on the night. It's no mystery how you did compared to anybody
else.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now we're gonna pretend this pause is me jerking you off and saying you're so good at comedy, Dan. I know. But really, I'm just going to get a couple Coronas.
Okay. Just one for yourself. I'm good. I'm good with just the one for now. Thanks.
You good for one for now?
No, I don't need another one. I'm good.
Oh, okay. All right.
I gotta drive.
I just got to drive the loss of the roast battle out of my mind.
Yeah, that was really. I mean,
how great was that for you?
That was I was pretty on top of the world. But that day was just a shitty day for me in general. Like the wife and I were fighting.
Yeah,
we had just a bunch of bad luck. You know? Not necessarily anything, but just between my wife and I. But we had a fight that day. It was
and it's probably rare, right?
Yeah.
Probably like me, you don't fight with her too much.
Not a lot, no. But then I banged my elbow earlier that day, and it was aching the whole friggin' day, and just shitty stuff like that, like all fucking day.
Sure.
And then I came, and then the afternoon came, and I informed my wife. Hi, Amanda, if you're listening. She's not.
Will she not listen to this?
No, God, no.
Well, fuck her.
She doesn't even really know what a podcast is.
Yeah, right.
She knows that I listen to them and stuff, but she's not a fan.
She's not into it,
No. But that day, she just, part of the fight, she was just saying, you're going out and doing your stupid little comedy thing, whatever, that night. Because she does.
Yeah, well, she knows which button to push.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I had made mention that, you know that there's prize money if I win.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh. well, do you need help writing anything? I'm like, no, I don't need help. But if you want to take the kids out of the house for a couple hours, that'd be sweet. So she did. And I pretty well had it all written anyway.
Right.
The joke that the cobbler joke that you're, a strong, hard, crusty layer to hide the fruit underneath.
Yes.
I came up with that at like 3 a.m. when I woke up to take a piss.
Nice.
And I just decided, like, I got to go write that down. A couple of the punchlines had just come to me at like random times, and I just had to like find pen and paper before this leaves.
Yeah.
And but that was over the course of like the whole month beforehand. Now you had mentioned that you had just written everything that day.
That morning in the deer blind.
Yeah. You see, that was your mistake.
I did. You know what? I didn't give. You know what the truth is, Dan? I didn't really want to be in that roast battle.
No.
I love roasting, and I love a comedy competition.
Yep.
I don't know. I couldn't. I think it was just my mental mind space at the time. Because if that were to happen now, I think I would get right into it.
Yeah.
But at that time, I actually really wanted RF to win.
Yeah.
In the first round.
Yeah.
I wanted him to beat me. I didn't want to do any comedy. I was looking to take a break kind of deal.
Okay.
And I just wasn't in a good mental space. Certainly, listen, no excuse. I showed up with my jokes. You showed up with yours. You beat me.
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, no, I wrote them that morning in the deer blind.
Yeah.
I got up at 5:30, something like that. Got on the bike, went out to the blind.
Yep.
And I didn't give you enough respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that was the whole thing in my mind is I didn't even let it feel like a great victory for me because I feel like I was underestimated, and had you like brought full force, like I had brought full force,
right,
it would have been closer.
Yeah.
But as it was, it was a fairly. I beat you handedly. I would say it wasn't that close.
What really hurts more than I'm over the defeat.
Yeah.
What hurts me more is that I didn't get my note over. It didn't get the response I thought it was going to get. Because when I was sitting in the deer blind, so many people have done Dan's dad's jokes.
That's all they have
right?
on me because I'm kind of a mystery.
Every time I've roasted you at roasts, I never went there.
Yeah.
Never touch it because I know that's low-hanging fruit. Everybody else is going to hit it. I don't want to do it. Even though you came out and said, please, everybody, feel free to do it.
Yeah.
To me, it was like, it's too easy.
Yeah.
So, but when I came up with that idea, I was like, well, this is a different take on it.
Yeah.
Here I'm pulling out this fucking note. Dear little Danny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was so proud of that idea. Maybe it just didn't have enough time to ferment. Mm-hmm. Maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
But what hurt me the most was that didn't get over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
I didn't get the pop I thought it deserved.
Well, if you watch the video, because I don't even remember doing this.
Right.
But I got my own mic, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm so excited for this. Like, I was super pumped as soon as you brought that out. I was like, yes, this is going to be good.
Right.
And I thought it was great, but then the crowd just wasn't feeling it. I'm like,
the crowd wasn't feeling it.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah,
this is great.
That's how I felt, too.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that hurts now.
Yeah.
Is that I just couldn't get that bit that I thought was good.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you? Where you sat down and wrote even a one-liner, like a joke where you go, this is fucking A shit.
Here's the thing.
It didn't get over.
I kind of cheat in that regard.
Yeah, I know you
if I do a one-liner and it doesn't go well.
Right.
Now, I mean, I can only do this like once or twice per set.
Sure.
But I say, fuck you, that was funny.
Yeah.
And that gets a laugh every time.
Yeah.
So that pads
it gets a laugh every time?
I've never done it and it didn't get a laugh.
See, that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen, and geez, I feel bad about doing this because I did shit on Marty D a couple episodes ago. I hate Marty D when a joke drops. He'll go, come on, guys, that was funny.
Okay.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it. And no one ever laughs at that.
No.
No one ever laughs at that.
No, I do fuck you, that's funny. And if I don't.
And sometimes you go, fuck you. I like that one, so I don't care.
Yeah. Or occasionally if a joke's getting too long of a laugh, which I know is not a big problem that most comics have, but. For like the Yucks guest sets and stuff, I only have 5 minutes.
That's right.
I can't afford a 20-minute laugh break.
No,
or
man.
20-second laugh break.
Yeah, you got to get it out there.
So I'll say like, yeah, I like that joke too, and that gets a little bit of a laugh, but it usually quiets it down.
Yeah, it usually stops it. Yeah.
And I do another thing again if the joke doesn't work that well. Is I'll repeat the punchline, but I do a little tap dance move like to the microphone, and like that'll get a laugh.
Yeah, right.
Just something to accentuate it a little bit.
Sure,
and it usually works.
See, that's interesting, and it's something that I've been really focused on lately is adding the physical element to it, like the performance element to it.
Yeah.
I love to hear you say that because honestly, I think one thing that was holding you back a little bit was your physicality on stage.
Yeah, up into the right.
Not so much the eye contact. I mean, up into the right.
Yeah.
Great. I love it. But you kind of just stand there.
Yeah.
So if you do that, if you're like hamming to the crowd physically, where they normally see you, arms crossed, that's a huge fucking difference.
Yeah.
It's something I've been really focusing on is the philosophy, the facial expressions, the movement, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
that is something I mean, my joke writing, I don't struggle with it. Like I write more jokes than I know what to do with.
Yeah.
Most of them suck, but
it's nice though, right? It's
yeah. I mean, that's always
it's an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'm the same way, and I feel bad talking about it.
Yeah.
Because I know there's comics out there who struggle with it, like struggle hard.
Yeah. And I don't understand why they even try comedy. Like if you struggle to be a joker, I wouldn't do this if I didn't think I was good at it.
Yeah. Dude, you're preaching to the choir there.
Yeah. I don't understand the people who like. I'm not trying to name drop anyone like specifically that I think is like a shitty comic or anything, but like someone like Tyson Ardo.
Yeah.
Like he'll go up on stage on a whole bunch of whatever.
Sure.
And
usually mushrooms.
Yeah, usually shrooms or whatever, and just try to be funny in the moment on stage.
Yeah.
But no, there's no fucking way I'd ever try that. It's just it's more ballsy to do it the way he does.
Sure it is.
But it's not something.
And
I would
Tyson,
ever try.
Excuse me, Jesus.
It was a big one.
It was a big one, bigger than I expected. It's the carnivore diet. The thing about Tyson is he's a funny motherfucker.
Yeah.
If you're just talking to him.
Yeah.
But God knows what the fuck he's doing on stage. I mean, he cracks me up every time, but he doesn't crack me up with, well-crafted material by any means.
Yeah, I know. I post a lot of my jokes on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I do a lot. I don't know how I get penned in as this, like, the pun guy. But some of them are puns.
Yeah,
but some of them are good jokes.
Yeah.
But then there's like 4 or 5 guys. Tyson's one of them. Who will just, if there's a pun to be made off of one of my jokes, they'll comment with that pun, and then it'll just become a pun off. So say I make a joke about.
So all the comments will just be puns. Pun.
And I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But if it's a pun joke.
Yeah.
But when it's not a pun joke,
you're like, this ain't just a fucking pun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Tyson's one of those guys who will just like go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and just with. But I participate in it too because I also find it fun because puns are great.
And you're bored at work. I mean,
I'm bored at work or I'm bored at home doing whatever. Yeah. And I'll participate because it's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
But Tyson's one of the guys. Troy does the same thing from time to time. Ken Bolton on occasion. Darren Huckster, who I've never met, but
Darren Huckster, that sounds familiar.
Don't know who he is. Never met the guy, but he friended me on Facebook. As far as I can tell, he probably did a couple of sets or something.
Right,
and he just probably friended all the comics.
I think he was in my Facebook orbit too.
Yeah,
sounds familiar.
Yeah, I never met the guy, but he seems like a good dude. But I don't know the guy.
Yeah. What's what do you like better, Chuckles or Yuck Yucks? To perform.
To perform. You see, that's a toughie. Because.
They're both very different.
Yeah. I like Chuckles, but and I wouldn't even call it a beef with Chuckles. You and I.
I love this. Here we go.
We've already addressed that. I'm better than the local average.
Sure.
And
you're above the local average.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
But I get booked equal or lesser than the local average.
Yeah, that's frustrating, right?
Yeah. Nothing against Julie or Shane.
Right.
But it's pretty frustrating when I deliver every time. I do well. I've
never seen you do bad at Chuckles.
I've come with new material every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't fail, and then I get booked again in 14 months.
Yeah, that's a little.
Yeah.
That's a little unacceptable.
Yeah.
If you're seeing people who are not as successful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who are not as consistent. Let's say.
Yeah.
Right. And they're getting booked more often. That's tough.
Yeah, I've got a couple in mind. I'm not going to name names, but there's a few people who I don't consider to be on the same playing field as you and I, who get booked quite more frequently than I do, and I just have to question, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's not that I don't appreciate it when I do get booked,
but
I'd like a little bit more often.
Yeah.
If I get twice a year versus once a year would be excellent.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just based on my track record.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. You're very consistent.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to ask you when your last bombing was, because you're a consistent comic.
Yeah.
Now, like the thing for me with Chuckles, it seems like now I only get booked if the headliner is a friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in fact, I wasn't. Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna fucking. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
I love Chuckles, man.
Yeah.
And I've always, since the day that place opened, and I did the very first show there with Casey Corbin, Matt Richardson actually was on that, and we were reminiscing. I did a podcast with Matty Rich on Saturday.
Yeah.
Before his show.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this. Between you and I, like I would consider the two of us to be fairly on even par. You do a lot more shows than I do.
Yeah.
But I would say in terms of like comedic ability, I wouldn't put us too far apart from one another.
It might be better.
Okay. Whatever you think.
Well, here's why I say it, because I've done much longer sets.
A
and
ton more.
Carried that laughter.
You have that point.
So I've proven an hour.
That's fair.
So that it's only based on that. Not
okay.
If we go 10 to 10, you may be right.
Yeah.
But I think I'm on a higher level because I've done many
You've
shows
done the
for
hour.
Much longer time. And that's the only reason, Dan, and you know me, I'm just being honest.
No, that's
right?
Man, you and I respect the honesty.
Yeah.
But I would say that between the two of us, we're probably the best in St. John. But the best in the province, I think, is Matt Richardson.
What about Shane Ogden?
I don't think Shane does. I haven't seen Shane perform in forever.
Right, and I will remind you that I did beat Matt Richardson at a Battle of the Comedians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but I have never seen Matt Richardson not do well.
No, same here.
And I've never seen him and not enjoy the fuck out of it.
Same here, man. Listen, you're preaching to the choir again.
Yep.
I love Matty Rich. I was so excited that he's headlining Yuck Yucks, man. I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I said to Matt, I said, nobody in this province, myself included, deserves it more than he does.
Yeah.
Because he's put in the time with Yucks,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and you did mention Shane, and I don't want to leave Shane out of the argument by any means, but I almost look at Shane as more of a promoter at this point, which I know he's a comedian, and he definitely is. But he promotes a lot of shows and stuff, and I just he's a hell of a comedian.
Yeah.
He's absolutely a hell of a comedian, but I've seen way more I see him at a lot more shows than I see him on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How many times have you seen Shane do like an hour?
An hour?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. See, your mind may change if you see him do a real long set.
Yeah, I've seen him do like a half an hour at Joe Notice Bar Deluxe, but that's about it.
It's hard to count that.
Yeah.
Because you got, 7, maybe 15 people there?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But, in my mind, Shane's a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shane is...
I've never seen him do poorly. I just haven't...
Oh, I've seen him do poorly.
Have you?
Oh, fuck yeah. I've seen him do real poorly.
I mean, I've seen him do poorly like in his 5-minute intro hosting thing. Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit.
No, that doesn't mean fuck all.
No, because hosting is a whole different, separate beast that I want to try to get better at, but I've only done it once.
Yeah.
And I did it way wrong way.
What do you mean?
The only show I ever hosted was the second ever Comedy with Balls, which you headlined.
Right.
It was a friggin' murderer's row of a lineup. It was me, you, Arif, Vince Hoban, Moxworthy, and...
and Vince was running fucking hot at that time.
Oh, fuck, was he ever?
Yeah.
And Brad McLaughlin. Oh, Brad.
Double bill. He did a double bill.
He did ever. Yeah. But I had modeled my hosting after the previous month's host, Darren. Hi, Darren. I know you're listening. And
one of my favorite listeners.
Well, he had done 10 minutes between everybody.
Right.
He had done a lot of time.
Yeah.
It was 5 to 10. I wouldn't say it was 10 between everybody, but he was hosting and he was probably up there for a total 45 minutes.
He was getting his shit in.
Yeah. So I thought I had to do that. And
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't realize that you could just kind of keep the show going and be like, all right, I'm going to bring up our next act. No, I had, and this was all brand new because I had dumped my best 10. I was 3 months in.
Yeah.
And I had 15 good minutes, and I had done 10 of those good minutes
the month before.
Right. And I'm not repeating material because I had seen how poorly that had gone for the aforementioned previous host.
Right.
So I decided I'm going to write all new shit, and I'm going to have 4 separate 5-minute bits. Only one of those things survived. I mean, none of it did poorly, but only one of the things ever moved on to become an actual bit that I've ever done again.
Yeah.
And but I didn't realize that was not how it was supposed to go. Because when you see a show now like a Laughter Dark, Like the last one I did, Thane hosted. Thane Fox. Thane's fucking great.
He's such a great host,
He's
too.
such a good host.
Yeah.
He's the best host.
Man, I like Thane no matter what he does up there. No matter what spot you put him in.
Yeah.
Thane's just a natural.
Yeah, I've only seen him twice since he kind of came back. He was on a hiatus for a little while.
Yep.
I've only seen him twice since he came back,
Same
but both
here.
times he was hosting, and he did fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
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 So when I see him do his thing, and he gets the crowd going, and then he just keeps things rolling. He has a couple jokes in between, but then he just moves on. Whereas I was trying to do like 5 to 10 minutes in between everybody, and holy fuck, that's hard.
Yeah. You're trying to do a set in between every time. Yeah.
I was trying to do like an open mic 5 to 10 minute set between each one.
Yeah. I hate hosting, man. I fucking hate it. Well, really, I refuse to fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know, I did it twice. I did it once at Wilser's room. Mm-hmm. My very first time hosting, there were 13 comics on the show.
Yeah, that's rough.
And it just so happened that Shane Ogden was in the crowd that night.
Okay.
And he loved what I did as the host.
Yeah.
He booked me to fucking host this show in Grand Bay.
Oh.
And whatever, it went well.
Yeah.
But that was extreme opposite because there were only 2 other comics. It was me hosting, and I brought one guy up, and then I brought Shane up, right? And I hate it. I don't like to host.
I think I'd like to try it again. When this past weekend at Chuckles, or sorry, not Chuckles.
Yucks.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Chuckles, Yucks.
Yuckles.
Yeah. This past weekend at Yucks, it was Kerry Lee, who I had never seen before.
Right. You never seen Kerry?
No, it was the first time I'd ever met him this past weekend. He's a great guy. And
super good.
super funny too.
Yeah.
And I had never seen him, but his hosting style was fantastic because the musical act really gets people going.
Yes, it does.
That's a genius.
As soon as
idea
he
for
starts
hosting.
strumming that guitar.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
because Thursday night he struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, the crowd was just stingy as fuck.
Yeah, they kinda were.
At the opening of that show.
Yeah.
And they didn't give a lot of love to Glenn K. Amo
No,
either.
they didn't.
And I thought they both had very good material.
Yep.
You know, how about that fucking song by Kerry Lee about Darren Elmore?
That was great.
That was a great fucking song.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. That was kind of what I was fearful of when I went in for Friday, though, because I was thinking the crowd was about the same size as it was Thursday.
Right.
And when Kerry was hosting the first little segment there, roughly the same reaction. I mean, it's the beginning of the show, so they're getting warmed up.
Yeah.
And being the guest set, I'm going up first after the host, right? So I was just kind of fearful that it wouldn't go well, but then they really did warm up to me, and I was so friggin' happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was very worried.
You're nervous leading into it, right?
A little bit. I mean, I always pace.
Yeah.
I pace before shows. I always crack my neck a couple of times. Toss my shoulders around a little bit.
Yeah.
Crack my knuckles.
Do you do the full yoga like Marty D? Do you get the squats going with your hands spread right out? Or?
I should. I need to get back into doing
Jeez,
yoga.
I feel like I'm fucking attacking Marty D on every podcast I do.
We love you, Marty. We all love you, Marty.
Everybody loves Marty D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually something that I was a little upset by, though, that I didn't get to roast Marty.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to go against Marty in the first
Yeah.
round, but then I ended up against RF in the exhibition.
Were you gonna bring out some physical jokes?
It was bad.
It was, eh?
It was bad.
Oh well, then I think it's got to be done. Then.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
got to be done.
Yeah, no, it was not good. I'm ashamed for having written them,
Right.
but they're great jokes.
Yeah.
And I'll, if the opportunity ever arises and he and I are ever in the same room at the same time and it's like a roast style thing can go down, maybe we'll try it.
Yeah.
But
I think that's got to be heard.
Yeah,
That's
unless
gotta
it's
be
on
it.
an official show, I'm not even dropping the fact that I wrote these fucking things.
Right. But you know what? He owes it to you.
Yeah.
He owes it to you for canceling twice.
Yeah, well, I also messaged him ahead of time, and
Right.
I didn't expect him to tell me, no, well, don't touch my disability or anything.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect him to do that.
Right.
But at the same time, I didn't want to be the guy who just...
Dropped it on him.
Yeah. Because
you don't want to hurt his feelings.
Well-
Well, I mean, intent is
Yeah.
understood at roasts for the
Yeah,
most
yeah,
part.
yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Some people take it serious, man.
Yeah.
Well, at the roast of Shane Ogden, when I roasted Mollinger, he laughed.
Yeah.
He laughed. He was so offended.
To be fair, they weren't really jokes. It was pretty angry. There was some anger there.
It came off more angry than I wanted to
Yeah.
because I was drunk.
Okay.
But the jokes were sound.
Yeah, there was
It
some,
was.
okay.
Oh no, they were fun.
It was all right.
If
Well-
I read them back to you now, you'll laugh. But they were delivered with a little too much animosity.
Yeah. I think
Because
that may be
I
why
was
I
drunk.
didn't feel it was jokey, is because
Yeah.
it seemed like you were legitimately angry.
Yeah.
And no one in this scene actually has any real animosity towards James.
Not at all.
No, he's
Not
a
at
good
all.
dude. Every time you talk to him, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's always nice to
I've never had a
everybody.
bad experience interacting with him.
No,
that's for damn
never.
sure.
And
Yeah.
and there's like this people will make fun of him, but he's at the top. That's what you got to do, right? You always talk shit about.
Is he at the top though?
Locally, yeah.
I think he's just at the top of the Mollinger game because he's really not in the comedy scene.
You got a good point there.
Yeah,
it's a whole separate lane.
Yeah. He's doing something completely different than what we're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. And it's to be respected too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've always said I respect the hell out of his work ethic.
Yep.
Nobody can promote themselves like James Mollinger.
No.
I'm gonna go to Harbor Station in April.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go?
Probably not.
Did you go to the first one?
No.
How come you won't go?
Not because of any animosity towards James or anything. Just probably not going to be a good night.
Yeah, probably not going to be able to have that time.
I don't go to shows unless I'm going to be on them most of the time. Because it's just...
And that's why you don't know I'm better than you. You haven't been coming out.
Yeah. I've seen enough.
Actually, you know what? You know what's funny, Dan, is in 2018, I come on this podcast a lot and I say, this guy leveled up, 2018, man, like compared to... the headline said I did at Chuckles in 2016.
Yep.
That guy's garbage.
Yeah.
Compared to where I'm at right now.
Yep.
Very happy with the way it's been going.
Yep.
I've found a way to get me up there now.
Yeah.
And super happy about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna go see the show.
Yep.
With James. The first time he did it, I was sour.
Okay.
I was like, come on, who's this fucking guy think he is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what really made me sour is the way he booked the show.
Okay.
I wanted him to book Shane Ogden.
Okay.
Shane's been doing comedy for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Comedy here. He
Yes.
gave you your breaks here.
Mm-hmm.
Put him. Why are you putting this? And listen, I love Ansar Hassan.
Yeah.
I love the guy, man. I hung out with him for like 4 hours when he came over to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Like every time I've seen him, he's done new comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new shit.
Yeah.
And I respect the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it should have been Shane.
Yeah.
It really should have. So that made me bitter. I didn't go, and I talked shit about it. But I'm going to go this time and check it out and stuff. I mean, everybody knows that, he sold it out, and that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a papered show and all that.
Yeah.
None of that shit matters.
Yeah.
I want to go check it out and see, what it feels like there and how it is and stuff, I don't expect it to be as successful as the first time, though.
I don't either.
No.
I feel like in 2016 he was more, I wouldn't say on top of his game, but certainly there was more of a demand for what he's offering.
Absolutely.
But because now we have Yuck Yucks, there's more open mics than there ever have been in the area.
Yeah.
Chuckles is in full swing, which it was just starting up at that point.
That's right.
I think there's a lot more people that are already getting a little bit of a fill from comedy. I mean, not necessarily his style of comedy though.
Yeah.
Right? So who knows? It might do a lot better than previously thought. And again, if he gives a little bit more, if he gives out enough, tickets to it, then he might do it again. But,
yeah. It's it just seems to me this time there doesn't seem to be the buzz attached to
it
that there was. However, I'm not on social media, so is there the same type of buzz for this one?
Somewhat. Here's the thing with James. We were briefly friends on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Briefly. Somehow we became not friends on Facebook. I don't know why.
Your choice?
Nope.
You got dropped?
I got dropped.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I don't take it super personally.
Sure.
But he's friends with like a whole bunch of folks that are like, a little lower on the totem pole and whatnot.
Right.
And I know we were, and now we're not. And I'm just curious, like, was it, like, because there's a cap. You can only have up to like 5,000, right?
Yeah.
But I got dropped over other people.
Right.
And I thought, that's a little bit shitty, but...
You can only have 5,000 friends now?
Total, yeah. I mean,
Really?
in Twitter, you can have as many followers or whatever as you want and follow as many people.
When did this cap happen?
Oh, it's been that way for, I think, since the beginning of Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. You can have followers, though.
Okay,
and I do
followers,
follow
but
him.
not friends.
I do follow him, but
Right.
in terms of like
well,
friends
you gotta
who
see what's going on, right?
Yeah.
That's why I was on there.
Yeah, and I also follow Tromaville Citizen, which is another thing that he does because he's all into like old movies and
The horror
VHS and
movies
stuff.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
because he posts some really interesting stuff on there, and a lot of times it's not even showing his face. It's just, this is the stuff I'm into, and here's some cool shit.
Right, not just, hey, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of, hey, this is what I'm into kind of thing. Yeah. What are you into? Are you into the old budget horror movies?
No, not so much. I mean, like, there's in terms of movies, I just like a really good, really funny movie. Everything's funny with me, though.
So
everything's about funny.
So where are you finding these movies? Because I'll be honest with you, since Hot Tub Time Machine 2, I don't think there's been a real funny movie since.
I watched one today on Netflix that I laughed quite a few times at. It was
What's this?
Sisters. It's called Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Right.
Have a house party in their 40s. Just a lot of funny people in it. Just
Are you a feminist?
Okay, we're going to talk about this, Mark. Okay. I know your thing.
I've heard good things about that movie, actually.
It was funny.
Listen, I'm just yanking your fucking chain, but I do want to talk about it.
Here's my thing with comedy movies.
Sure.
I don't like when they try to be anything but funny.
Yeah.
Just cut the shit.
Yeah.
Just make jokes.
Right.
Okay, MacGruber, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Is that right? I've yet to see it.
It's wall-to-wall jokes. The whole
Right.
fucking thing. Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story.
That's a great fucking
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's
just
funny.
It doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. The whole fucking movie is jokes. Mm-hmm. There's no serious moments in the whole fucking thing.
Right.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit I'm into, is just like it's not trying to be any more than it is, right?
Yeah.
But everything has to, focus groups would think that if you incorporate a love story, that they would actually get more female viewers between 18 to 34. So we're going to
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not all romantic comedies are shitty, but when you feel like the romance is forced when they were just trying to make a funny movie.
Yeah.
Or if the comedy's forced
Like
when they're
Knocked
trying
Up. Didn't need to have that premise.
No.
You got Seth Rogen. It's going to be funny.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things like that. Now get back to the am I a feminist?
Yes, please.
Yes and no. Here's the thing, Mark.
All right.
Feminism is an overall very positive thing.
Sure.
However, there are some fucking shithead feminists.
The concept.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the people representing it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find shitty people in every walk of life.
Yeah, supporting anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have shitty fans. I've got shitty fans. Well,
Sure.
I don't have fans, but I've got but
I don't have any fans either, Dave.
No, well, you got more than I would. But there are shitty people that are into everything.
Yeah.
There are shitty liberals. There are shitty Republicans.
Listen, you're a wrestling fan. You know about this
Oh,
more than
God.
anybody.
Shitty wrestling fans are the worst.
Yeah.
I know this one guy at the house show last year. He walked right up to the guardrail just to flip off Roman Reigns.
Come on.
Yeah. And his name was Travis Boyce.
Yeah, are you serious?
No joke.
Yes!
I mean, he didn't go right up to the guardrail, but he walked ahead of where his seat was just to flip off Roman.
What a mark.
Yeah.
Hey, what a mark.
Oh,
Come on, dude.
Me and my buddies were like up in the stands, and I'm like, hey, there's a guy down there flipping off Roman.
And it
Holy
was
fuck,
TV.
that's Travis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what a mark.
yeah.
I am going to rib him about this.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I liked it. So overall, the feminism thing, like, yeah, you can find like a whole bunch of fucking blue-haired ladies with funky glasses who have all kinds of interesting thoughts about what they're supposed to have interesting thoughts about.
Sure.
But I think overall it's a good thing. Women should be paid the same as men for doing the same job.
For doing the same job.
For doing the same job.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not forget that, they don't do all the jobs.
Not all the jobs,
No.
but there are a lot of jobs that are more work towards them as well, that men don't gravitate towards as much. Like my wife is a nurse.
Sure.
There are male nurses, clearly not nearly as many.
No.
Teachers.
And not as good. I don't want a male nurse coming in.
I mean,
if I need a sponge bath,
I
I'm
feel like
a feminist.
I feel like it depends on the position, man. There's
Sure.
a lot of nursing positions that require a great deal of physical strength.
Yeah.
If you work in orthopedics and you got a 350-pound dude with a bad knee and he needs help getting into a wheelchair out of the fucking bed, you want a 90-pound girl doing that shit?
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah. There are cases I've seen where fire departments had to lower their strength requirements because they had to have a woman on the team by legal standards.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
That is bullshit.
If
it's
a woman,
the right person for the job, right, Dan?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
right candidate,
exactly.
whether it's male or female.
Yeah.
In my mind, whether
Yeah.
it's male or female,
right.
it's the right candidate.
That's right.
Like, people are screaming now. Like, people got so mad at Jerry Seinfeld for having just men on his show. Right?
Yeah.
Driving and getting
Comedian.
coffee with
I love the
comedians.
show.
Oh, it's a great fucking
great.
show. I cherry pick it, admittedly.
Yeah, fair enough.
I like to see Kramer and I like to see Larry David. And,
Yeah.
Guys that I ain't fucking know. Bill Burr.
Yep.
That kind of thing. But man, funny's funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're a chick and you're funny, it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
If you're a chick that's not funny, then you're just not funny. Doesn't
That's
mean
right.
I hate women.
Yeah.
It's just you're not funny. Like Amy Schumer, I'm sorry, not a fan.
Used to be great.
Used to be a good comic.
2009, Amy Schumer was amazing. She was outstanding, but it just became no. She was really
She
good.
must have been because she got
was
to where
really
she
really
is,
great.
right?
There's a lot of great female comics, and I'm really tired of her being the fucking measuring stick standard.
I agree.
Whitney Cummings.
See this fucking movie she's coming out with now?
Yeah. Oh, just terrible.
RF and I are going to go to it, and we're going to review it honestly on the SPLUDECAST.
Between like Whitney Cummings, Sarah Silverman, Jen Kirkman, Eliza Schlesinger, these are all incredible female comics, and they're. Have you seen Amy Schumer? She's that girl comic. She's hilarious.
Yeah, like Bonnie McFarlane.
Fuck yeah.
No one knows who she is. She's not in fucking movies.
She's Rich Voss's wife.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's what people say.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Same with Christina P.
Fuck
right?
yeah.
Tommy Buns' wife. But she's fucking hilarious.
She is, but
hilarious.
I don't think anyone's
too bad that she. Like, if she was married to anybody else, she'd be the strongest comic in that relationship.
He's the next biggest in the world.
Yeah, man, he really is.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah, like he's the next guy that's just going to break into the mainstream. I think. And great because I love their podcast. I love the two of them. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Hello, Jamie.
Hi.
Of course you did. Hi, baby. Ladies with the interruptions.
She was excited to see Dan McCarthy tonight. Yeah, she was. Yeah. Was, yeah, not anymore. Yeah. No, you blew it, bud. You blew it.
That's all right.
I thought you were a feminist. Jesus Christ. This guy's fucking lying on the SPLUDECAST.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know this is all about honesty here, right?
Dude, I haven't stopped being honest. But a chatty broad's going to get called a chatty broad when she's being a chatty broad.
That's right.
That's what feminism is.
But, we should show a little respect. We are in Jamie Land's studio.
Fair enough.
And he fucking, he fucking knew that.
Yeah. I knew the Port City podcast.
Right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
So be nice to Dan and beat the fucking feet. All
right. Later.
Yeah, later, baby. Oh, I just elbowed your shoulder.
That's all right.
That hug was as awkward as Dan's eye contact.
Hey, dude, I'm not great with hugs. Not great with hugs.
Appreciate it. I don't bitch about it.
Yeah, I think Segura is the next guy to be the next household name in comedy.
I hope you're right, because he's certainly more deserved than anybody
We
else.
only get one about every 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe every 5.
But maybe every 5.
Yeah, the last person who really became a household name was probably Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
Yeah, and I think he's probably the next one. Trying to predict the one after that, but fuck, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of a guy who's got like 4 or 5 albums out now. Jeff Tate. You ever heard Jeff Tate?
Jeff Tate's very good.
Holy
man.
shit!
If he breaks, look out.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's insanely funny.
But you know what bothers me though? Owen Benjamin will do better than him.
I don't mind Owen Benjamin.
Listen,
he's still a little too political.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's room for everybody, right? Like
not at the top.
Not
at the top, Dan.
I think that there is.
Yeah.
If comedy was treated with the same respect as music is, where there's 40 top 40s with all the different genres and all the different genre blends and whatnot that they have these days. There's more fucking genres than there were total songs at the time of my birth.
Yeah.
But if comedy was treated like that, then there would be that many people at the top. But it's unfortunate that there's not.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how disrespected the art form is, though?
But yes and no, because we're kind of happy with it that way.
Yeah. We're the underdogs, and
yeah, and I kind of like that. Yeah, I don't think as many people would get into comedy if it was perceived as that kind of like, oh, you're gonna be a fucking rock star, man. Like that's not what anyone starts it for. That's certainly not what the good ones started for.
Not the good ones.
Yeah, if you get
there are people who started for that.
Oh yeah. Like there are people who do shows, like at the Reversing Falls, who are clearly just trying to be famous without a great deal of talent.
Do you want to talk about that?
A little bit.
Yeah, that's a little. Now, listen, I like Mandy Lynn as a person.
I've only met her briefly, but I've seen her do stand-up enough times that.
Let's be honest, she's not a headliner.
No.
And she's out there selling $60 tickets.
Yeah.
For her headlining.
I feel like that's disrespectful.
It demeans our craft a little bit, Dan.
Yeah.
It does a little bit, and it sounds like we're assholes for saying it. But, here you and I, like. Man, listen, I work fucking hard at comedy.
Yeah.
I work hard at it. I take it fucking seriously.
Yep.
And I wouldn't sell myself. The first time Shane Ogden tried to book me as a headliner, I turned him down. I knew I wasn't ready.
Yep.
And
I did the same for John at No Jokes Bar Deluxe, which is totally the same thing.
Totally the same thing. A little less money. But you know what I mean? You get it, right?
Yeah.
You knew you weren't ready.
It's disrespectful to the art form to jump ahead.
And in hindsight, even looking back at what I did in 2016, listen, man, I did well with the crowd both nights. Mm-hmm. But in hindsight, compared to where I'm at right now, I wouldn't put that product on stage as a headliner right now if I were me, And, man, it I don't know. on one hand, great for her if she can sell the tickets and fucking do it. But at the same time, should she be selling that to people as a fucking headline?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I'd be fine with
I don't even think the undercard is fucking worth it.
Yeah, anybody who doesn't, and I'm not trying to be like elitist, but anyone who just doesn't come out to the open mics, doesn't come out to No Jokes Bar, doesn't come out till afternoons, whatever, and I don't understand how they think they're getting good.
There are dues to be paid, dude.
Yeah,
there are dues
you
to
have
be paid.
to. It's as people have said, comedy is like music, but you're playing the audience as your instrument.
Yeah.
If you're like on your second day of lessons and you're just trying to sell $60 tickets, it's a little bit
it's disrespectful to the crowd.
I mean, I think the $60 tickets is like dinner and a show type thing. Like,
Sure, but if you're still selling yourself as a headliner.
Yeah, that's, I mean.
You haven't even proved you can do 10 funny minutes.
No, exactly.
Let alone 60.
Yeah.
You have to prove it, right? You know, like I'm in a spot, man, where I probably shouldn't be headlining. I don't have the experience to headline.
But locally,
I certainly don't have as many shows behind me.
Yeah.
Right?
But relatively speaking, locally, you're just as experienced and just as good of a comic as anybody else is locally.
Sure. But if that locality was Toronto, I'm just starting out.
Okay. We have a unique advantage and disadvantage here. Have you ever noticed how bands or comedians or whoever does a national tour of Canada?
Sure.
They do Toronto and they do fucking Vancouver.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it.
But that is national, right?
So, yeah.
Sure.
But locally, we're very isolated in terms of live entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very costly to fly here. It's out of the way.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in the ass to perform in the Atlantic provinces.
For sure.
So because most people can't or won't come here, or we're just a forgotten part of,
or we can't afford that, to bring them here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we'd be very small fish if we ever went to Toronto or anything like that. But because we're here and there's the absence of that, it only helps us.
I think I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
And the sparsity of our shows.
Yeah.
Has made us stronger too.
Yeah.
The ones who take it seriously, who want to crush at every show.
Yeah.
It's making us better.
Yeah.
We don't take for granted the stage time.
No.
Like they do in bigger markets.
Yeah. Like I was talking about this somewhat with Christina Walkinshaw.
Right.
She's a paid regular at the Laugh Factory in LA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Shit, I didn't know that about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know she's a killer.
Yeah.
Every video I've seen of her, she cracks me up.
She's outstanding.
Yeah.
Super funny, super nice, very personable. Has said that she put in good words for me and stuff. Just super great lady.
Nice.
And everyone did really well that weekend. So it's hard to say, if it was just a hot crowd or whatever, but she did fucking fantastic both nights. And she was talking about how she would literally do stand up for 35 days in a row without taking a night off, and just like because she can.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it goes. You know?
Yeah.
And she would say that like sometimes they'd have like if they're doing like a different night at the Laugh Factory, like they have Black Sundays or whatever.
Right.
Know,
Yeah.
Just go to a different club.
Yeah.
And that's that. You become so used to being on stage that it just doesn't mean as much anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
For you and I, it's still a special thing to get up there. But when you've been doing it she's been at it for 20 years, and she gets on stage almost every fucking day.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah, you get a little jaded, man. You get a little complacent. Right? Yeah. It's easy to do, and I think you're right. I think it, and I've talked about this in the podcast. I think it's a benefit for us.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think if we were in Halifax doing a show every night, or 3 or 4 a week or whatever, I think we'd take it a little more for granted. You know? So I think it's helped us grow. The ones who were born with talent, right? Because there's a lot that goes into being a good comic.
Oh yeah.
Some people were born to be comics.
Yeah.
Right. I feel I was born to be a comic, man. I've been making people laugh since I was born.
Yep. Same
right.
here.
That's how I've always got attention. I don't stand out in a crowd.
Yeah.
People can't even fucking see me. Right. Unless I'm busting balls and doing a good job of it.
Yeah.
That's the only way I get attention.
Yeah.
Not everybody's born that way, right? There's some people who can grow into it, and you can get very good at it without having that talent. But there's something, it's easier for guys with talent. If you take it fucking serious here, you can get better quickly.
Yep.
We've proven that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a question for you. I've always wanted to ask you this, and I thought that this is the perfect time to do so.
Sure. No one ever asked me questions.
I know. Now, this might be hard to judge because it's very much a hypothetical, and it's something that you would have no experience with.
Sure.
Do you think you'd be a comic if you were 5'10"?
Yeah, I think so.
You think?
Well, I mean,
you don't have that much material about your height.
No,
but
when I was breaking in, like what really got me over was a set that I did about my height.
Okay,
that's what got me noticed by Shane Ogden.
Yeah,
that's when I really started to hit with crowds.
I saw you do that at the Pub Down Under, like one of the last. It was a show that I had gone to because Trevor was on the show, and I wanted to talk to Trevor about getting stage time. Before I had ever started. Actually, sorry, no, that was the one where I talked to Sharon Epic about getting stage time.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. We're
gonna drop that name away. Yeah. I don't even want to touch that. She's got this big beef with me that I don't even understand.
She's not even around anymore, though, is she?
Yeah, well, she never really has been in her own mind.
No, she's a interesting fella.
Yeah. She is an interesting fella.
Yeah.
That's a feminist in you talk.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
she can be a dude. You can be a chick. Whatever. But I always thought to myself that I might not have been a comic if I had grown up skinny.
Yeah.
Or I might not have been a comic had my dad not killed himself when I was 12.
Yeah.
Or I might not, I always have loved a good joke.
Yeah.
But there's something fucked up about all of us.
Oh, absolutely.
Every one of us.
Matty Rich and I talked about this on Saturday.
There's no well-rounded comic.
That's right. So I don't know if it's my height or if it was just, when I was growing up, I grew up with just my dad.
Yep.
And he didn't pay a lot of attention to me.
Yep.
So my way to get attention at school and around friends was, humor.
Yeah.
So maybe if I was 5'10" and still had that upbringing, it's really hard to say, right? It really is hard to say. Like that was your defense mechanism because you were chubby, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So who knows? I think I'm not really sure. Excuse me, but I will say this. I believe that I was born with a level of charisma.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know if it would have mattered if I was short or tall. A lot of comics locally, like newer comics, talk about this process of comedy and that process of comedy. A lot of people don't talk about charisma.
Yeah.
If you don't have charisma, it's very difficult to do well in comedy. And the ones who do very well in comedy have a lot of charisma.
I think you can do it without being charismatic.
You can.
But
if you have charisma, it's so much easier.
It's a hell of an advantage.
Absolutely.
But you have to be an A1 grade A fucking joke writer.
Yes.
If you don't have charisma.
Absolutely.
Which is how I went at it because I played it safe. I don't try to get by on my personality.
Yeah.
Because I don't have that. I'm gaining some stage presence.
Yeah.
But I don't have the cult of personality, as it were. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have that thing that just grabs a person.
Yeah.
I'm a very boring looking person. I've made jokes about this before, but I'm the default create a character in every video game.
Yeah, you're pretty average.
I'm average height. I'm average size. I'm average face looking. I'm not handsome. I'm not ugly.
Yeah.
I have lightish, darkish hair.
You don't dress with flair.
No,
like
exactly.
There's
nothing about me that would really catch anyone's eye or catch anyone's attention. So the joke writing was like I wouldn't even say a crutch because that's what we're in here for is for joke writing. But it was definitely something that I relied on way more than a lot of people seem to.
Yeah.
Like they think, oh, well, I'm just going to go up and I'm going to talk about this. But do you have it worded like specifically? Yeah. No, I'm just going to go talk about this. What the fuck are you doing? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like what?
And some people with a lot of charisma can get away with that.
Yeah.
But they would do a million times better if they worked on it like you do.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you do have a charisma. When Dan McCarthy's in the room and shooting the shit with people, you do have that charisma. So what I want to, I think, man, when you get more stage presence and bring more, when you get Dan McCarthy up there in full, and it takes forever, right? Like, I'm starting to get closer to it now. When you get to where I'm at, where you can get more of Dan McCarthy on stage, dude, you're gonna be unstoppable.
I can't wait.
You're gonna be unstoppable. But it's the shitty thing about it is you need that experience.
Yeah.
Like the Halifax, like the Toronto.
Yeah.
You need but we don't get it.
No.
So it takes us a little longer to get our voice out there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But because of that, a lot of our stuff tends to be, I wouldn't necessarily say more well written, but we get a lot more time to put thought into it.
It's more calculated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I have a show coming up in 6 weeks, I'm working on my jokes for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not and it's not even a mental thing that I'm trying to do. It's not a conscious thing, rather.
You just have that time.
That's just how it works
Yeah.
in my brain.
That's what you're focused on your show.
Yeah.
And you have that time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What do you think about this weed getting legal here, Dan?
I'm so excited.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Do you smoke?
Yes.
Nice. Nightly? Daily?
Yeah.
Do you smoke during the day?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
So you're like me.
I mean, I have, but
Sure.
like if if I have a shitty task to do and the kids aren't around or something like that, absolutely. Like if I have to
Snow blow the driveway? Oh, it's
shoveling the
great for that.
driveway.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah.
It's
It's fun then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only time I can enjoy music.
Right? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That part of the human brain doesn't get activated with me unless there's marijuana involved.
Yeah.
Occasionally
we've talked
booze.
about that. You're
yeah,
not a-
occasionally
yeah.
booze, but I'm not. I try to steer clear of alcohol, but just be very careful with it.
Yeah.
My dad was a big drinker.
Yeah.
and you just
It's a thing to be careful with.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a fairly regular pot smoker.
Mm-hmm.
I find it helps with the creative process.
Does it fucking ever?
I don't like to call it this, but for lack of a better term, it helps with the post-traumatic stress of my dad's death.
Sure it does. It's a great coping mechanism.
Yeah. And it's a bit of a crutch, but it works for me.
Yeah.
It really does. Way more than alcohol or any of the other things.
Booze would go the other way.
Yeah, you see,
It would go the other way.
I didn't start pot until I was quite a bit older. I was
Right.
I was 21 the first
Yeah.
time I smoked pot. So like,
Really?
when most people try it when they're like 14, 15,
Yeah, that's me.
I was nowhere near it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I waited because as studies are coming out now, they're saying that it's perfectly fine for your brain as long as you don't do it in your formative years.
That's right.
And
when your brain is fully developed.
yeah. Once it's developed, you're not doing any damage. But
Yeah.
if you're smoking every day from the time you're 14 till you're developed, you're definitely going to be missing something.
Yeah, like
Right?
me.
Yeah, exactly.
The missing link.
Exactly. So
That's what I preach to my son.
Yeah.
You know, I say to my son, honestly, there's nothing wrong with marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. But not until your brain's developed.
Yeah.
So, when you're 20,
yeah.
then you can think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how to broach the topic with my kids. My kids are kind of aware of what alcohol is.
Right. How old are your kids right now?
3 and 5.
3 and 5.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I would have guessed 7 and 5.
Yeah. No. Jameson's my oldest. He's 5, and Bennett's 3.
It's funny that you're talking about alcohol and how you avoid it. And your
Jameson.
sons- yeah.
We spelled it like the vitamins.
Oh, nice.
Not
I just bought
originally.
some fish oil. It was 50% off.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's good for your joints. But speaking of joints.
Yes.
Yeah. My kids, but
Great minds, maybe.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But because I know it's going to be legal and I know that they will be exposed to it at some point in time, I
Yeah.
know I have to have the talk with them about it. Now, the laws that were put into place, or that are going to be put into place, because obviously it's not legal yet, but
Yeah.
there's
Well, it is
supposed
for me.
laws about if you
got
have
a
a prescription.
prescription.
Yeah, I looked into that, but way too costly.
Yeah, it's
but the idea that you have to have it under lock and key was one of the laws proposed for the province of New Brunswick with the pot. I don't know about your son, but my sons have never found something in the house, gone and got rolling papers, chopped it up real fine, and put it in that and smoked it.
Yeah, never.
Never happened.
Yeah.
They would never even cross their mind.
Yeah.
Because if my kids see pot, they don't know what it is.
Yeah, but if you lock it up.
But I understand it for the point of to keeping it out of like 12, 13-year-olds who know what it is and might want to try it. I understand it from that standpoint.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to do that, have the same rules for booze.
Yeah. Well, not only that, man. Listen, my son's 14 years old.
Yeah.
And he and I have a very honest relationship.
Yeah.
Almost all of his friends, except his girlfriend, smoke weed.
Yeah.
He takes videos and shows me of them, lighting up big fucking spliffs.
Yeah.
He's in high school.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what
And,
they do in high school.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do in high school. So they're going to be around it. You can lock yours up all you want.
Yeah.
They don't want yours.
No.
They're buying it at school.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. What I don't like is that the liquor board is going to control the weed here.
That doesn't
I think
bother
that's
me so
That's a big miss.
But I've got a beef with the liquor stores here in general.
How come? What do you mean?
they're the only place you can buy it.
Yeah.
But yet they insist that the place look pretty.
Yeah.
You know how much of a fucking waste of money that is? Yeah. Every gallon of paint, every ounce of crack fill, we would buy it out of a fucking shed.
Sure. Wherever it's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have no competition.
Right.
They put like $100 and some grand into redesigning the NB Liquor logo.
Right.
What the fuck for?
Yeah.
Like that's so dumb.
Yeah, it's not like they have to advertise or anything.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's always bothered me. The fact that they're going to be in charge of weed, that doesn't really bother me a whole lot because there's always the option to buy online and stuff too.
Right. You know what bothers me as someone like, I'm kind of an advocate because I was in the industry.
Yeah.
For a brief period.
Yes.
Didn't end well for me.
Yeah.
But I saw how much money a small business can create.
Yes.
And the kind of economy we could have here if it was opened up for licensed distributors here. Yep. It would boost the economy. Yep. Now it's all going government.
Yeah.
So that bothers me on that level.
That may not be I'll say it's on a permanent basis, but I would say it's semi-permanent.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what to do with it yet.
Yeah.
It's still very new. If you're just going to open it up and be like, all right, go nuts.
Yeah.
It might, they're just scared of the backlash.
Yeah.
And so that's the easiest way for them to
control
regulate
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, like the thing that bothers me and what I love about my old employer, what he's doing, he's trying to stay open when it goes legal as medical.
Okay.
As like a kind of a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if the government is going to handle things like Phoenix tears, that cancer patients use.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? For stuff like that. I'm not sure if they're going to handle the tinctures and the Phoenix tears and the topicals and stuff.
I would have to assume that they will. But again, you're right. You might just go and it's just flowers.
Yeah,
you don't know.
And they don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have the knowledge of it that this guy, my old employer, has.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they do keep the dispensaries open for the medical side.
Yeah.
Because, man, it sounds stupid. When I was working there, it's 90% recreational.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone who got a prescription is 90%. But that 10% is terminal cancer patients. People who have kids who have seizures.
Yeah.
Who need this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that those people are going to get lost in the shuffle, and it's just going to be focused on recreational.
Yeah.
Right? When marijuana is so important medically.
Yeah. When you speak of the epileptic children, that was actually what changed my mom's mind about it.
Right.
My mom, my dad was a bit of a pothead, but kind of like he migrated more towards the booze toward the end.
Yeah.
But as far as she knew, he hadn't smoked pot in a long time.
Yeah.
It was the 90s, so there was a hell of a lot more stigma around it than there was before.
Yeah, yeah.
And
a lot of hash around here at that time.
Possibly. I couldn't tell, but
I could tell.
I was 12 when the millennium ended, so I didn't know much about it. But
yeah, right.
I know that my mom found a half a joint in my dad's place when she was cleaning up after the incident. But
okay, right.
So apparently he had gotten a hold of some near the end. But
yeah.
All she knew of pot was it was this thing my dad liked to do, and he would do it with his buddy, and him and his buddy would just get all whacked out of it, and they would just think stupid shit was funny, and she would just think it was dumb. Like she had done it a couple times, but it wasn't like it would never be a mainstay of her life, right?
Yeah.
But she has always worked as a doctor's secretary.
Okay.
Not always, but that was her primary career, me growing up, and that's what she's gotten back into. And for a while, she worked for a pediatrician.
Okay.
And they had kids that were having upwards of 100 seizures a day. And with the cannabis oil and stuff like that they were trying, they were down to like 2 a week.
Yeah.
Just
with CBD.
Yeah.
It's not even psychoactive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the crazy part to me is it's not psychoactive. It's not going to do anything to make you high. You're not going to feel it.
You feel nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will stop a problem, but there's still red tape around it. That's fucked up.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Even hemp, like in the United States, is very controlled. You can't grow it, even though they make clothing out of it, right? Like fabric, all this stuff. It's still illegal.
It's bonkers.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really is not.
It's crazy that it's a plant.
Yeah.
That grows naturally.
And it's illegal.
Yeah. But they'll give OxyContin to everybody.
The
right?
opioid thing is fucked nuts.
It's crazy, man.
I had a surgery on my tailbone like 10 years ago.
Right.
And when the doctor wheeled me in, she asked me if I'm going to want anything for pain. And it was the second time I'd had the same surgery. And the first time it was really bad. It was kind of botched. And I was in a lot of pain for a couple of weeks. And the first doctor had given me Tylenol 3. So the second doctor, I said, okay, anything but Tylenol 3
Yeah.
because it doesn't do anything for me.
And they hurt your stomach too.
Yeah,
that's
and
why I don't.
yeah. My stomach was all upset, and it wasn't taking away the pain.
Yeah.
So I said anything but T3. She gave me Oxycontin.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a bit of a jump.
Yeah.
But I thought for years this surgeon was the best fucking surgeon in the world.
Right.
Because my first surgery, I was in agony for weeks afterwards. I couldn't sit down. It was on my tailbone, so you move all the time.
Yeah.
It's always in motion.
Yeah, sitting up, laying down.
Yeah.
Matter.
There's no position you get in that's comfortable except for flat on your stomach.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh my God, he's just such a better doctor. I can sit down immediately after my surgery. What the fuck? This is insane.
It was the drugs.
It was the fucking drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first doctor was like a really old guy who was nearing retirement.
Right.
The second one was a younger woman who, probably is up on more modern medical procedures.
Yeah.
But night and day. Like
Yeah.
we're talking like agony for weeks versus nothing.
Listen, this is why everyone's addicted to it because
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah. It worked insanely well, but my prescription was take 4 per day of these pills. I don't know the dosage. I don't remember the dosage.
You don't know if it was 5
And it was for
milligrams
10 days.
Yeah.
And I did. I just took them as prescribed. Every 6 hours, I'd take a pill.
Right.
And then once that 10 days was up, I didn't sleep for 4 days. I was sweating. I couldn't eat.
Oh, the withdrawal's brutal.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, pertaining to pot, I ran dry about 4 or 5 days ago. I haven't had any since. Feeling okay.
Yeah.
There are times when at the end of the day I'd be like, man, I could use a joint.
You think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
your body is not going,
No.
we need this,
No.
get it. Yeah.
No, I'll admit my sleep's not as good.
Yeah.
Because it's generally a nighttime thing.
Sure.
And even the nights that I don't do it, at least there's still some in my system from the previous couple of nights or
Yeah.
like a few nights ago or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, there's zero. I've got no.
There's
problems
no
at all.
withdrawal, man.
Yeah, and it's not even that I can't get to sleep. It's just I'm a little bit lighter of a sleeper. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking to a guy, like I was addicted to opiates for over 10 years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I started working at this car factory, making car parts.
Okay.
In 2002. And after 2 or 3 months, I started working in this cell with a guy, and he said, do you want a perk? And I said, perk? I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
Right? I said, what's a perk? Is it like a Benny? I thought it was, something to keep you up or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, well, it's a painkiller.
Okay.
I'm like, this is pretty painful working here, so yeah, go ahead and give me one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hooked right up until I moved here in 2011.
Really?
And one of the reasons why I wanted to move here is because I knew I didn't have a source for it anymore.
Uh-huh.
I was sick of being addicted to it.
Yeah.
Like I was doing 10, 12 of them a day.
Jesus.
Percocets, 5 milligrams, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I never went like 20s, 40s, 60s, 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
I never went that route because I know myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm super highly addictive personality.
Yeah, same here.
But I was still, and we're talking anywhere from $3 to $6 a piece.
Yeah.
And I was doing 10, 12 of them a day.
Jesus.
And
Gets pricey.
It gets pricey, but also changes your mood a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Especially
But
when you're not on them.
Exactly. Well, when you're not on them, it's you want to die.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, and it angers your wife.
For sure.
Who doesn't bring you beer ever? Give me 1 minute, Dan.
Sure.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I know, but you can't pee for me too.
No, I'm all right. I got to drive.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good. I already have one. I'm good.
I'm behind you, so you have to get marked in there. Oh, look, he put it a little.
I know. He's
Just for you.
a wonderful little host.
He is a wonderful little host. Aw, that's so sweet. But no way.
Okay.
We got to get to this.
Okay.
This is something we absolutely have to get to.
Okay.
We got to get to the wrestling.
Okay.
All right? I let you know before we started this podcast, I'm a big fan of Vince Russo.
Yes.
Do you listen to the brand?
No.
You don't?
No. There are two figures in wrestling who absolutely despise each other.
Right.
Vince Russo and Jim Cornette.
Right.
And I think they're both fucking lunatics.
Absolutely they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in a good way.
Yeah, no, not always.
Yeah. Of course, like Vince Russo was responsible for a lot of the
Best wrestling
the crazy
writing
shit
ever.
that went on in the late 90s. Yeah, the Attitude Era. He was responsible for a lot of that. But he never... I lost a lot of respect to him when he went to WCW and gave himself the title and just kind of went a little bit crazy with power.
Right. And he did, and he admits that.
Yeah. And David Arquette champion and all that shit. That's
Right.
Vince Russo all over it.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm not a huge... I never really followed him past just like what he was doing in WCW and WWE in the day.
Right.
But just seeing...
Because he was at TNA for 10 years. Too.
Yeah. And I never really was a TNA fan.
Right.
Yeah, I some, but not a lot.
Yeah.
I've always been a WWE guy. Just most recently started watching a little bit of New Japan, but that's about as far as I go.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't listen to his podcast?
No,
really?
no.
Yeah. I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a fan of the product today,
Yeah.
I think it's important for everyone to listen to Vince Russo.
Okay.
He's got a very honest take on it. He's got a lot of older wrestlers on there.
Yep.
Like Big Vito LaGrasso.
Okay.
He's got Stevie Ray on there.
Yep.
He's even got some current talent like Ben Hameen and guys like that.
Okay.
What's your favorite era of wrestling?
I want to say it's
when
pretty-
did you become a fan first of all?
Okay, 1990.
Okay.
I want to say that year specifically, but I was
When
just
were you born?
I was 87.
87.
I was 3.
Okay, that's why I asked when you were born.
The earliest memory I have,
Yes.
period,
Right.
is watching The Undertaker stuff the Ultimate Warrior into a casket.
Yeah, the very first casket match.
Scared me to death.
But he was an intimidating character, man.
He still is.
Well, he's not now because kayfabe
He's old, but
well,
yeah.
no, because kayfabe is dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If kayfabe was still around,
Yeah.
he'd still be an intimidating
But
character.
at age 3, I was like, this is a legitimately dead man who's like, no one had ever done that sort of thing to the Warrior before. Like, he was always such a powerful force.
Absolutely.
That seeing that
he
happen
was like a
just,
Goldberg back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. He was exactly Goldberg.
Yeah.
And like no one ever won clean over the Warrior, and
Yeah.
you know,
And most of them were squash matches.
yeah,
no
exactly.
matter who he was against.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like he'd be lucky to get 6 minutes in before he was gassed, though, right? Is the thing.
Well, look how much energy you put out getting to the ring.
I know, right? Sprinting to the ring, and you know that's all he had.
Oh, yeah.
But phenomenal shape. Like,
Oh, yeah.
The body on that guy was insane.
Not too many better bodies. You know,
No.
Luger, there was a few.
Physique wise, he's pretty up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So watching him that's the earliest memory I have. So and just knowing the date of that was like towards the end of 1990.
Yeah.
So I would have been almost 4.
Yeah,
So I
right.
was 3, almost 4. And so that to me was like when wrestling was when that really sparked my attention.
Right.
I would say it peaked for me in like 96, 97 when I was about 10. I was a huge Bret Hart fan.
Yeah.
My brother was a huge Shawn Michaels fan.
Right.
And
Oh.
so it was just a rivalry between the two of
yeah.
us. You know, WrestleMania 12 rolls around. There's a 60-minute Iron Man match between the two of them.
Yeah.
And we didn't buy pay-per-views back then. We didn't have the fucking money for that shit.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
$30. You have any idea how much that is? In $1996, it's like $1,200 these days. or some shit.
Closed caption.
Yeah. So we just rent the tape as soon as we could, and like we'd wait till the next day on Raw to find out what happened, and it was fucking nuts. But
Right.
that was, I would say, my golden era, like towards the beginning of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And I would say that was in terms of like wrestling quality, in terms of like storyline, and when I was most interested in like the characters and everything.
Yes.
That was probably like 2000, 2001.
Yeah,
around
at
that.
the height.
When Austin and The Rock were the top guys.
Yeah, Foley.
Triple H was just starting to take off.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, like all these guys were just in their primes and
that was really the
delivering
That was
incredible
really
work.
the golden age. A lot of people remember like the WrestleMania era,
Yeah.
Saturday Night Main Event era,
Yeah.
as the golden age. It really wasn't, man.
Yeah.
It really was like 99 to 2002. That was really the hottest time, right?
If you were into like the slow lumbering matches of yore, that was your thing in the late 80s and early 90s. But when you learn
talk shit about the WrestleMania era,
but when you learn when Hulk Hogan was my favorite when I first started.
Right.
When I was 3 years old, Hulk Hogan was.
Geez, so you were
three
mark.
fucking
you
years
were
old.
A fucking mark
I
right
was
out
a
of the
mark.
womb.
I totally was. Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage are my favorites.
Yeah, listen, Savage has always been my number one.
Yeah, and
always.
I can't blame you.
Yeah,
He's not my favorite
when the
ever,
Power
but
split.
Yeah.
When Randy Savage won the title,
Yeah.
WrestleMania 4, I saw it at the in some fucking horse barn down there at the racetrack.
Okay.
On closed caption.
Yeah.
And there was no sound.
Yeah.
90% of the building left.
Okay.
Got their money back. They were so pissed that there was no audio.
Okay.
I stayed.
Yeah.
I was right up at the front. This
Yeah.
giant fucking screen of my hero won the title.
Yep.
He had to fight 4 guys that night to
Yeah,
win
the
fucking
tournament.
title.
The
Yeah.
tournament.
But anyway, this is intriguing.
Yeah.
So you're a Bret Hart guy.
Yeah.
Your brother's a Shawn Michaels guy.
Yeah.
How did you guys manage to retain a relationship
After the screw job.
after the Montreal screw job?
Yeah. We didn't. I haven't spoken to him since.
God, I wish this was true.
I
though.
know, right? I know.
I wish this was true.
Yeah. I always had a lot of respect for Shawn Michaels too. Like I never hated the guy.
Listen, he might be the best performer
I think
ever.
he is. I think he is.
He
the,
might
the,
be.
the best pound for pound pro wrestler of all time. I think it's Shawn Michaels.
He might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the whole package.
Yeah.
But I think that
Once he threw Jannetty through that fucking window.
Yeah.
Before then, he was nobody.
As Bobby Heenan put it, after Jannetty cowardly threw himself through the window. I love Bobby Heenan.
Poor Jannetty.
Yeah.
Oh, God rest the brain soul.
Yeah, I know. He's so good. But I always had a lot of respect for Michaels. He was easily number 2.
Sure.
And I didn't like WCW as much.
Yeah.
So when Hart went there, I wasn't paying as much attention to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't too upset about them.
I was.
Okay.
I was, but my cousin had the internet, and this is like late 97 when that happened. And that was like, oh my God.
Dial-up.
Yeah. But there's like starting to be a little bit of like wrestling buzz where you're learning their real names. And this is the end of kayfabe, right?
Yeah, right.
And she had told me, oh, well, Bret Hart's contract is up after Survivor Series. He was going to lose the title. So I had already known about it.
Oh,
but I
okay,
didn't know
wow.
that the screw job was going to happen. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I knew that he was going to WCW.
Sure,
there was word about that.
Yeah.
So from then on, I was just like, whatever, Bret Hart, fuck it. Like, because I was like, his best days are behind him. He's gone to WCW. Because that's all I ever saw WCW as. It's the guys who had their prime in WWE and then moved.
It's the B League.
Yeah.
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 Oh, shit, I was going somewhere with that. Fuck, I can't remember where I was going with that. For me, you want to know when kayfabe died for me?
When?
I went to a wrestling show. My dad took me. It was in the Moncton Coliseum.
Okay.
And I was going there because Rick Rude was in the main event against Jake the Snake.
Oh, nice.
And I was a huge fan of Rick Rude.
Yeah.
I loved it. I couldn't wait for him to grab the microphone and say, what I want right now is for all you fat, ugly Moncton morons.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for him to say that.
Yeah.
And, of course, he did, right?
Yeah,
It was a big
yeah.
payoff. But while we were driving to the Coliseum, once we got into Moncton, we were stopped at a red light, and I looked over, and there's this little car. It was like a Sprint.
Okay.
Basically, this
Yep.
tiny little fucking car. And in this car, in the front driving was Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Okay.
And beside him was Bret Hart, the Hitman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the back was Owen Hart, who I knew. I knew all three.
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I was frozen, right? Like I was like 10, maybe 12.
Yeah.
Somewhere between there. And I couldn't believe it. But what I saw sitting beside Owen Hart was the blue blazer outfit.
Ah.
And the blue blazer was feuding with the Hart Foundation at this time.
Oh, okay.
And that broke it for me. First of all, I think I might have been the first one in the world to figure out that the blue blazer was Owen Hart.
yeah.
Based on that.
Yeah.
But that broke kayfabe for me entirely. I was like, wow. It was such an eye-opener for me, Dan.
Yep.
Didn't stop me from enjoying the show.
Yeah.
But it really made me start to think, because I grew up around here, and I went to, my dad dragged me to Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling.
Yeah.
Once a month when it was in town.
Mm-hmm.
I went there every time. And I thought those motherfuckers were all mad at each other, and they were beating each other to death.
Yeah.
Killer Carl Krupp was coming into the crowd and taking swings at people.
Yeah.
There were, beer bottles flying. It was real to me, goddammit.
Yeah.
It's
real to me, damn it.
And that's when it all died for me. Kayfabe started, to come apart for me then. But at the same time, Rick Rude got DDT'd.
Yeah.
And I was there live, and I saw the dust and sweat fucking fly up from the mat when that DDT hit.
Yeah.
Broke my heart that he pinned Rick Rude.
Yeah.
I always loved Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
But I was a Rude mark big time.
Yeah.
Who you mark out for the most?
Right.
In history.
In history, it
and
was
then we'll get to
probably Bret Hart.
Right.
Probably, I'd say Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Then, but Shawn Michaels isn't far behind.
Yeah.
Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The Rock was the best antithesis to Steve Austin. Like that feud, the whole fucking thing, top to bottom, perfect.
So good.
The 3 Mania matches are all amazing.
Yeah.
Right now, I would say my favorite. It's kind of
Don't say Finn Balor.
I do like Finn Balor. I do like Finn Balor a lot. But Finn Balor to me I love the guy, but he's not that believable.
Right. He's too small.
And I know that's
small.
that is
And I'm 5'3".
Yeah, I know. But I get in every other. It just has to look realistic to me that they're doing. Now there are times where small guys can outmaneuver big guys, and Balor's good at that.
Sure.
He can make it believable that a 190-pound man is beating a 280-pound dude.
Right.
But I can't believe the idea of Finn Balor beating Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
It
Or
just
Braun Strowman
doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a guy who can pick him up with one hand and fucking throw him, I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
Then again, I was kind of cool with Rey Mysterio doing the same thing just because he could fly around, but he was a whole different game of flying around.
Way more charisma.
Yeah.
Way more charisma.
I do like Finn Balor, but I would say my favorites at the moment are actually 2 Canadian boys,
Reigns.
Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Dude, you need to. You know what's funny about Vince Russo?
Yeah.
He's got 2 dolls.
Okay.
That sit right in front of his camera when he's doing his podcast.
Okay.
And it's little Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And a little Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I heard him give them some shit a while back because when Owens won the title, like they were doing a documentary on Owens for the network at the time.
Right.
And they caught cameras of him and Zayn hugging backstage, even though they're like dead enemies, right? Which is great because I've never seen 2 guys work so well together.
Yeah.
Because best friends always have the best matches against each other, right?
Absolutely.
But there was a moment where like they're kind of crying in each other's arms because they're just like he's over the moon. He just won the fucking WWE championship, right?
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
You dream about it when you're a kid.
And he said this isn't just for me. This is for us because they kind of came up together. They're both from Montreal, you know. And
Listen,
Russo
Vinny
ripping
Rube
him.
blew that right. Oh yeah,
man,
he attacked them.
Oh, did he ever?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you should know coming from the wrestling business why that means something.
Mm-hmm.
You say it's just a fake title for fake fights. Yeah, you're right, but it's recognition from the company that you're doing a good job.
Yeah, man. If you can get over enough to and they put the strap on you, that's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
That means that you're getting a thumbs up from Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it's a damn hard thing
Vince
to
doesn't
do.
approve of a lot of things, right? So to get the approval of him is, it's golden.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people, recent wrestling fans don't realize how great Vince McMahon was as a commentator.
Oh, yeah.
When I was
one of
coming
the
up,
best.
man, he was the best.
One of the best ever.
Yeah. The only one I preferred over him, in the color, not in the color spot, but in the commentating spot, the play-by-play was Gorilla.
Okay, fair enough.
Love
Gorilla Monsoon was great. Yeah.
Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura.
That was a great team.
That's my favorite team.
Yeah.
JR and the King.
Yeah, good too.
Man, they were a fucking great duo
Yeah.
too.
I'm not a big fan of a whole lot of the newer commentators. There's a guy named Corey Graves who does a lot of their stuff now. He was a former wrestler. Got too many
I hear good things about him.
Too many concussions. Can't do it anymore. So now he's a commentator and fucking great.
Yeah.
Really great.
Now, do you follow like Meltzer or Wade Keller or those dirt sheet guys?
I follow a bunch of subreddits that are related to wrestling, so you see a lot of their stuff.
Right.
Now,
Ryan Satin and those fucking
yeah. The Meltzer star rating system.
Yeah.
I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah.
I value numbers.
Sure.
They are always up. So when WWE doesn't get a 5-star match that often, like the last one
New
was
Japan gets it every week.
Yeah. and because I'll watch these 5-star New Japan matches,
Sure.
and I'll say, yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
But they're not Taker versus Michaels at Mania good.
Exactly.
They're
You
not.
gotta tell a story too, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the move
Yeah.
list.
And no, they do
Story.
tell a story in Japan, and I find that's almost more important to them than the moves.
Right.
But the Japanese style never appealed to me as much because what I'm watching is for a fake fight, and they're really hitting each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to say that it's not
It's strong style.
The strong style, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with strong style, but I'd say it takes a hell of a lot more skill to look like you're hitting somebody really hard when you're not than it does to just hit them really
Just
hard.
hit 'em. Yeah. You don't have to fake it, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And when you find out that guys are getting concussions all the time and stuff, like it's just not worth it to me. Like I don't want to see anyone get hurt.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a huge MMA guy. Is like I can respect it for what it is. I don't shit on it.
Yeah.
But I don't like watching people get hurt, and the science of that gets behind it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Whereas the science of pro wrestling, you get like your in-ring psychology and you get your move sets and all that stuff, that all does appeal to me. Now that being said, about Meltzer's star rating system, he gave a 5-star match at the last NXT Takeover.
Right.
And
he always puts over NXT.
yeah, but the last 5-star match was 2011, CM Punk versus John Cena.
No kidding.
And the last one before that was 1997.
Wow.
So he goes like over
stingy.
over a decade, whereas New Japan gets them every fucking year.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of stuck in my craw a little bit. Now online people have the same gripe as I do, but they say, well, maybe he just enjoyed the match more than you, and you're right. They're for sure.
Yeah.
But man, you're showing a little bit of a bias.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, the 5-star match that he gave at Takeover last in January was probably the best match WWE has had in 5 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And who was involved in that one?
It was Johnny Gargano challenging Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT Championship. Probably two guys you've never heard of.
Yeah.
But if NXT,
I've heard good things about Gargano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
But if I don't have enough time to dedicate to the main roster.
Yeah.
SmackDown's 2 hours, Raw's 3 hours.
Crazy.
That's 5 hours every
That's
week.
too much content.
Plus, you get your pay-per-views, which are 3 and 4 hours each.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah.
NXT's an hour a week.
Yeah.
I can follow that. And
But for $10 a month.
yeah, it's
what
not
a value
bad
now.
to have. Yeah, and it's easily worth it for me. I get the pay-per-views every month, and I have friends come over. Travis comes over most months, and
Yeah.
my friends Cody and Brianna are always over, and it's a good time. It's a little social gathering. But in the takeovers, which are head and shoulders above the quality of match you'll ever see on a regular main roster wrestling WWE show.
Right.
It's not
And
even
that's
close.
NXT?
NXT, yeah.
Yeah.
And the takeover is what they call their pay-per-views. So they would have, but they only have 5 of them a year.
Oh, okay.
So as opposed to having one every month like the main roster does, they only do one
Every 2.5 months, something like that.
Yeah, it's the Saturday night before a big WWE pay-per-view.
Sunday pay-per-view.
So
yeah.
they'll do like before the Royal Rumble, before WrestleMania, before SummerSlam, before Survivor Series, and before Money in the Bank. That's it.
Yeah, right.
And so, they're just called NXT TakeOver, and then whatever town they happen to be in. So they don't have creative names. The ring is just black with black ropes. It's a very simplistic design. They don't go over the top with production value or any of that stuff, but they just deliver insanely good pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And
Do they tell a story? Is there
Yeah.
storylines too?
oh yeah, yeah. Well, they build it through the week, and because they only takeovers only every 2 hours, they never have more than 2 hours. So there's like 5
That's
matches.
good, man, because you
Yeah.
get fatigued,
Yeah.
man, with all that content,
Yeah,
right?
WrestleMania is hard.
Yeah.
WrestleMania last
Like
year,
6 hours.
It was 7 with the pre-show. The
Jesus.
pre-show was 2.5. It was 3 hours, 2 hours, and the main show was 5.
That's ridiculous.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's fatiguing over the course of a night. Whereas a takeover is no more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
You watch your 1 hour every week, and it's way easier to get through.
Yeah. Now, how come you and Travis Boyce don't do a wrestling podcast, dude?
I want to do a podcast.
That is fucking the perfect podcast
Yeah.
for you guys.
But I can't commit the time to it. B, I can't commit the money to buy the equipment and stuff at the
Right.
moment. But I do want to have a podcast, but I want to have it kind of like rotating theme. I don't necessarily want to do it just about a specific topic.
Just wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, because I do love wrestling, and it's outside of comedy. It's probably my biggest passion.
Yeah.
But it's not. I just don't think I could devote. I could definitely devote the time to it, but I don't know how much I could talk about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I love it, and I'll talk about it till the fucking cows come home. But I want it to be interesting too.
Yeah.
Right? So I would prefer to do a
different theme every week kind of deal?
Yeah, well, not
Jeez,
necessarily a
what-
different theme, but just different guests, and we're talking about different stuff.
Yeah.
Just don't have a set thing you talk about.
Yeah, just shoot the shit.
But that is a good way to develop a fan base, is by having a specific topic.
Yeah.
And I listen to some wrestling podcasts, but they're getting on, like, there's a one that's called Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Sam Roberts is the co-host with Jim Norton in New York City.
Yeah.
And he's got a wrestling podcast.
Oh, does he really? I
And
didn't know that.
Yeah, and he does he does a lot of the pre-shows for the pay-per-views and stuff like that. And
Oh,
doing interviews.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
shit,
a big
I didn't
wrestling
know
fan.
that. Yeah.
And he'll have, like, Bobby Roode was on last week, or he's had Finn Balor on, or he's had Daniel Bryan on, or he's had, actual wrestling names.
Yeah.
He's not getting Brock Lesnar, but he's getting some big names.
Bobby Roode's a big name.
Yeah,
I
hell
used
yeah.
to lift weights with Bobby
Yeah,
Roode.
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
neat.
yeah.
Bobby Roode's a cool dude.
Yeah,
really
man.
Really good wrestler.
Yeah. I don't think he doesn't seem to be getting over.
He
real
just
big,
lost his title last night. He had the
Yeah.
U.S. title until he lost it to Randy Orton last night.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good match too,
They
actually.
should put the rocket back on him, see what he can do.
I think that they need to make him a heel. He was in NXT for a
he
while.
was a heel. That's how he came up, man.
He was my favorite NXT champion to date.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he was an amazing heel.
Yeah.
Because he's got the best look for it. He looks like the guy who's just a really good shape version of the guy who would sign the papers to have your house repossessed.
Right.
Like, he has that really clean cut. Now he does. I mean, he doesn't have the long hair and stuff anymore. So he wears suits and, like, the big flare robe and, like.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. And he just has such a clean-cut look, and he's just got such a hateable face.
Yeah.
Like a Triple H circa, like, 2004.
Yeah, he's meant to be a heel.
Yeah, he's built for it.
You know what's funny, though, is that he really is a true baby.
Yeah.
He's a true baby face.
Yeah.
He's the sweetest guy, most quiet, unassuming guy you ever meet.
Yeah.
Crazy thing is his brother, huge heel.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
in real life,
Yeah.
his brother's a huge heel. Always in trouble with the cops. Always out drinking and fighting at the bars. Just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, everybody in town hated Bobby because of his brother.
Yeah.
Right? And then you meet Bobby and you go, how does this happen?
Yeah.
Right? Just exact opposites.
I had the kind of same thing growing up because I was always Jonas's brother. Not to name drop my brother, but he was 2 years older than me. So, like,
Okay.
my brother was a loudmouth.
Right.
So, going into schools, like, he was in grade 3 when I went into grade 1, so everyone knew him.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's just Jonas's brother.
Yeah.
Same thing going to middle school, same thing going to high school. You're just Jonas's brother.
Right.
And that always fucking drove me nuts because he was such a loudmouth little shit, and he always thought that he was the funny one between the two of us, and fuck, that drove me nuts.
Has he come out and watched you perform?
He never has. He doesn't live locally. He lives
Never has.
He lives in Fort Mac.
Oh, okay,
So,
right.
and they don't come home that often. And if I
Yeah.
was to do a show that when he was home, maybe, but he only comes home for like a week, a year, and it just never has lined up.
Why don't you book a show out in Fort Mac,
I
dude?
know,
They're
right?
starving for entertainment out there.
I know, and I have thought about that. But I don't want to necessarily take the show on the road before I've got even slightly a name, right? Like,
Yeah.
I barely even have any internet presence, right? I've
Yeah.
just got, like, it's an awful lot of a leap for a venue to take to be like, oh, we booked this guy who says he's a comedian.
Yeah, but in Fort Mac, you're not competing with too much out there.
No,
You know what I mean? And you know you can deliver.
No, but
Right?
at the same time, and I don't like to stereotype, but holy fuck, man, I don't know how much my jokes would really get over with a Fort Mac crowd.
Oh, I think you'd be surprised.
I work at a tire shop as my day job.
Yeah.
I see the people that come in with Alberta license plates.
Right.
They have a very similar way about them.
Yeah. But here's what you're missing. Here's what you're missing, right? Fort Mac is not people from Alberta.
They're all from here.
It's people from here.
Yes, but the folks that buy a truck out there and then drive back home, these are people from New Brunswick.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
They're just they came home spent all their money out there, thanks, and then came home.
I'm looking for cheap tires.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite. My favorite. The guy who's got the a 3/4 ton with all the fucking bells and whistles and a $90,000 truck.
And he's haggling.
Yeah. Can't afford the $1,000 for tires. No, he wants to go the cheaper ones.
Well, it's the off season, man. The oil prices have gone down.
Yeah,
you know?
I know, right? Yeah. But I just the truck guys, and that's always trucks too, and that's there's certain, I don't know, there's a personality type that I just kind of try to navigate towards or again away from, rather.
Right.
And that's a main part of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, we found out who you like. Or did we find out who's your favorite wrestler right now?
Right now, between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn,
Okay.
on the main roster.
Yeah.
If we're going down to NXT, I'm gonna say Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Okay. So on in that vein.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, because we're at 2 hours already.
Okay.
Who is your favorite new local comic here?
Oh.
Who are you digging right now?
Define new.
Within a
Would
year
Matt
and a
Keenan
half.
count?
Matt Keenan would count.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying Matt Keenan.
Would Matt Keenan count? Because not that fucker. I hate him.
I love Matt. I
Yeah.
do. He's a great dude, and
Sure.
I don't think I've ever had just met a guy and immediately, I wouldn't even say clicked, but just I wouldn't even say anything in common. Just he's easy
Just
to talk
rapport?
to. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
I had the exact opposite.
Yeah.
When I met him.
Yeah, I've always liked him from the moment I met him, and I don't get that a lot with a lot of people.
Yeah, right.
But I could tell from the moment I met him that he took it seriously.
Yeah.
And that's what I really value when I meet a new comic.
Yeah. See, I didn't get that from Matt when I first met him either.
Yeah. I found that he was very much he was really into joke writing and really into it immediately, jumped in with both feet.
Yeah.
And I really respected that. As far as who do I think is the most skilled, it's hard to argue against Chris Hovey.
Yeah.
I've only seen him 3 times.
He crushes.
He's crushed all 3.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. Now I can't say that there's anybody that I would from that class that's done any better outside of him. I mean, John Scove Nielsen's great. He's a funny guy. Dan Terrio, the occasional joke. He's working on some stuff. Shand is great.
Yeah.
Shan's an awesome lady too. She's just nice, fun to talk to.
Yeah. She needs to come up with a little bit of new stuff.
You know who is fucking fantastic and shocked the bejesus out of me?
Who's this?
Pragina.
Right?
Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Because obviously English is her second language, but
Yeah.
it's her English is fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's
But
perfect,
I just wasn't expecting it to be that good. Mm-hmm. She had. I only saw her once. It was at an open mic over at the university.
Yeah.
And she fucking blew it away.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Who's this lady?
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
never heard of her before in my life, and she just killed it.
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
Yeah.
Super impressed.
She's really good.
Yeah.
Arif and I got invited to speak at Chris's class.
Oh, okay.
When Regina was in the class.
Yeah.
Stephanie and Mike.
Yeah.
And they all read a couple of jokes that they were working on when we went to the class. And hers stood right out.
Yeah.
Stephanie's actually doing really well, too.
Yeah, I've never met her.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart, and she's very good. She's going to be a good comic if she sticks with it.
Yeah.
But Regina's material stood out, and her personality stood out.
Yeah.
She's got, like we talked about it earlier, she's got some charisma.
Yeah.
And it's weird because when you talk to her in person, she seems so shy and unassuming.
Yeah.
And then when she gets up on stage, you feel that charisma.
Yeah.
She's got something there.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
she's really, really funny. And I can't wait to see some more new stuff if she's coming out with some new stuff. I didn't even know she took Chris's class, actually.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah,
must
yeah.
have been part of Chris's first grad class then, because Ken did the last class.
Ken's first class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
Or Chris's first class.
Yeah.
I'm a little drunk.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. More power to the people who are taking the class.
What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
You
Honestly?
can't teach funny.
You can't.
But like Ken has said, I've heard Ken explain this, that you're teaching the people the confidence and how to structure a joke and stuff, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I were to take a class, I don't want to shit on anybody, but if I had seen a Ken Bolton set, I don't think he'd be the guy to teach me.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to shit on Ken because I've loved a lot of his jokes.
Sure.
But a lot of times it's a little over long, a little over political. You know.
Yeah.
This 10-minute set has 22 minutes with Ken Bolton.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't disagree.
But and same with Chris is I've seen times where she's really, really funny, but I've seen other times where I'm like, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
But they have the...
That's fair. What you're saying is fair.
Yeah, but they have the criteria to teach the class in that they're educated to teach the class.
Right.
I'm not sure exactly what their background is in terms of their education and whatnot, but they're both obviously well-educated people. I have nothing past high school.
Right.
So who am I?
Past grade 7.
Exactly. So who the fuck are we to talk? But
well, give me a microphone and I'll show you.
Yeah. Like I would if it were up to me on anybody in the city to teach a class, it'd be Arif.
Yeah.
I think he knows more about comedy than anybody.
First of all, he's a student of comedy.
Yeah.
He's intellectual.
Yeah.
Or so he claims. And right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to think about that.
He uses an awful lot of big words.
Right, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. But he really is a student of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arif's he's a fucking character.
Yeah, he really is.
He's a character.
So angry.
You know what's funny about you know what I love about Arif? He's not angry at
No,
all.
I know.
He's the sweetest guy. But you know what I love is when we're doing a show, and I do a lot of shows with Arif.
Yeah.
To get ready for a show, he has to pick a fight with somebody.
Oh, okay.
If he's going to do when Arif does really well,
Yep.
it's when he's had a very good argument with someone right before going on.
Oh, okay.
It's such a strange dynamic.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird, but he's probably my favorite person that I've met in comedy.
Yeah.
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 And I don't mean to insult present company.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
I love that little brand. Man.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
something,
I love
about
that too.
guy.
I really do. He's an awesome dude, and he's always helpful without being critical about it.
Yeah.
You know, like he'll suggest something, but not say you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
But just maybe try this. You know, instead of he doesn't even say like, don't do this, do this.
Yeah.
Whereas I've known a couple comics, you know, some people we've already been mentioned on this podcast that are more likely to. I mean, I'm not again.
Unsolicited comedy.
Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to shit on you, bud, but
Sure.
you know, that are a little bit more.
Hey, you should be doing this rather than.
I don't want to be told how to fucking tell jokes.
No.
And I feel like I'm competent.
A little condescending.
Yeah, and
especially when you know you do well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you weren't doing well, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Thing about Arif is that if he says that to you, then he's going to spend 2 hours, you know, beating himself up.
Yeah.
Well, why did I fucking say that to him? Who the fuck am I to say that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm just an open micer.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so easy to accept from Arif, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's humility there too. Yeah.
Oh, big time.
And I think that's something that both of us struggle with a little bit.
Oh, me struggle with humility?
Yeah.
Nah.
Both of us. Both of us. But in different ways.
I'll tell you this. I struggle with it still.
Yeah.
A lot less than I did in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. 2016, man, my ego was so fucking big and for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I always say now the stakes are so low here.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter.
No.
Who's the best? Who's the second best? Like none of that shit matters. Well, we're all
best, second best.
We're all nobodies here,
Yeah.
though, right? That's the thing. But we all have a goddamn good time, don't we, Dan?
We really do.
Yeah.
And there's not a person in this scene that I'm like, oh fuck, he's here.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that I've even mentioned this to a few people that I've looked at them and just thought that fucker's not funny.
Yeah.
Just because I'd never met them before.
Yeah.
But,
right.
Two that spring to mind. Steve Fudge.
Yeah.
Love him. One of my favorite people I've ever known.
Absolutely.
He's just a great guy.
Sweetest guy.
And I had seen him around town, and he's kind of a character. Like, he's got a look about him. You'd recognize Steve Fudge.
Absolutely.
And I had seen him before, and then I saw him on a poster for a show that was at the 3 Mile.
Right.
And I was like, that fucker doesn't look funny. This is like 3-4 years ago, right?
Right,
I'm like, that for no reason, you know. And the same thing with John Scove Nielsen.
Right.
Because he works at the Superstore in Rothsay, and I'd seen him like 1,000 times. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, that's the guy who works at the Superstore. He's not that fucking funny.
Yeah.
But in my head, and then I see him work, and I'm like, oh, he is. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm shitty about it, but I have to be, right? Like, there's something. Anyways.
Is that competitive? But it has
It's
to
a
be,
competition thing, yeah.
It has to be competitive, Dan, because we're sitting in our rooms and we're writing our little jokes.
Yeah.
Right? And I think my jokes are better than yours.
Yep.
And you think your jokes are better than his, right?
I think my jokes are better than everybody's.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't, why the fuck are you doing it
Yeah.
then? You know, that's my deal.
Yeah.
But some people just love the art form, like Arif.
Yeah.
He hates the competition aspect of comedy, right?
Yeah.
But it can't be denied. It's there.
Yeah.
Right? It's there.
But that doesn't mean others have to fail so you can succeed.
Absolutely not,
It
man.
just means that you have to up your game.
Exactly. When I'm on a show, I want everybody to do well because I want that audience to have a good experience.
Yeah.
So they come back.
Yeah.
You know, the scene is still so young, man. There's not a huge crowd for like a huge audience for comedy here yet.
No.
But it's coming.
I don't know.
You know, it's coming, and we got in on the ground floor.
I don't know necessarily if it is coming. And here's something to bring back to Mullinger from earlier.
Sure.
Do you?
Are we gonna shit
another
on,
thing about
are we gonna
him,
shit on Jimmy? Because I love to.
Another thing about him maybe not being as hot as he was.
Right.
When I was first starting.
Well, what he does is hard to sustain.
You're right.
Yeah.
But when I first started, everybody who found out I was a comic asked me if I've ever worked with James Mullinger.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Know what the question I get now?
What do you get now?
Do you ever work Yuck Yucks?
Yeah.
Not that it's a bigger name.
Right.
But it's a bigger name.
It is.
Yuck Yucks is bigger than James Mullinger.
Oh, absolutely.
By a large amount.
Yeah,
And that might hurt him somewhat. Because
That's
at a point, he was easily the biggest thing here comedy-wise.
Yeah.
By a huge long shot.
Money-wise, ticket-wise, absolutely.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah, not even close.
And now Yuck Yucks is here. And they don't sell out every time, but they're like a 120-person room, roughly. They do 3 shows a weekend. They generally have a good crowd.
Yep.
They sell a lot of tickets. They put a lot of asses in a lot of seats.
Absolutely.
And that's awesome.
They must,
Yeah.
because he survived this long.
Yeah.
Right?
And speaking of him surviving this long, Steve, another thing that kind of changed my tune was when we went there on Thursday night.
Right.
He was bartending, and he had one waitress who was just clearing bottles.
Yep.
And that was it for staff.
Yep.
And to me, the face of big business closing in on everybody doesn't look like the owner bartending and with one waitress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just trying to make his business work.
Listen, Steve is putting the work in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's absolutely putting the work in.
He had the balls to try it, and now he's got the guts to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a guy who doesn't know a lot about comedy who got into it.
Yeah.
You know, and he took a lot of criticism for that.
Yeah.
Like here's because admittedly he went in the paper and said, I went to a Yuck Yucks in Toronto.
Yeah.
I had a good time, and I thought, I'm going to fucking bring Yuck Yucks
Yeah.
to where I live.
Yep.
You know? And he took a lot of criticism for that.
Yeah.
But really, it's commendable.
Yeah.
A guy who saw something that he liked and said, hey, I want to bring that to to where I'm from.
Yeah, ballsy.
We don't fucking have that shit there.
That's right.
I want to bring that there.
Yeah.
You know, I think he should be commended. I think it should be, I think all of us as comics should embrace the club a lot more.
Yeah.
Myself included, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more guilty than anybody for shunning it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I just want our spot.
Yeah.
You know, I want our spot, and really, that should be our spot.
But that's how we get our spot.
Yeah.
Is by going through and doing it their way, because they are what they are, and we kind of have to play by their rules. But
Yeah.
there's no reason we can't.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though, Dan. Here's what exists, unfortunately, for Yucks. The reality exists where I don't need Yucks.
No, you're right.
Right? Like, I've worked Yucks twice, made no money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So far in 2018, I've made $2,500 in comedy.
That's pretty great. Yeah.
Right? And none of it's been at Yucks.
Yeah.
So I don't really need them.
Yeah.
But
That's
I kinda-
fair.
But I kind of want them.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that stage.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know just as well as I do how valuable a good set is, and a good set with some good laughs from a comedy-centric crowd.
Yeah.
Which
And a
you're
full-
not going to
a
get
full
elsewhere.
Yucks club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And money can be made. You just have to put in some time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you and I even make money yet is insane.
It's crazy. You know, I get messages from comics in San Francisco and San
Yeah.
Diego and stuff, and they go, "How are you making money in comedy?
Yeah.
4 years in.
Yeah, because you start.
How do you do it?
Yeah, you have to start as just a passion project for like a decade
Yeah.
until they're like, here's $6.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
And I didn't set into this deal to make money.
no.
You know what I mean?
No, me either.
I didn't expect to make a dime. Like fucking when I first started, man, it was costing me like $120 to do a 5-minute set in Yucks in Halifax.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think we should embrace the club a lot more.
Yeah.
You know. Well, let's end on that. Thanks
All right.
a lot for doing it, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And fuck, you'll be back.